Hello everyone, this is What If Fanfic and today I'll bring you What If Naruto Worships the Log. The link to the story will be in the description. If you want to hear a fanfiction, please comment down below. Now on to the story.
You know, he was many things. He was a prankster, that's for sure. He was the unknowing and unpraised protector of millions of people, and that was just in Konoha. He was a jailer, a landlord, not that he knew. He was also a scapegoat, a punching bag, a stress relief, no stranger to pain. At times, he was a beacon of shining joy. However, at this particular moment, Naruto felt like one big bruise. His clothes were ripped into mere shreds of what they had been a few hours ago, his hair wet with dirty water, clogged with mud. He knew he should get up, he really should. Even with his unnatural, otherworldly healing, a hot shower always helped once the mobs attacked. However, since it was the annual Beat on Naruto festival, he couldn't help but wonder if he would even find an apartment. Deciding to find out, he stood up, wincing as he pulled a 6-inch glass shard out of his left hip. He barely took notice as the deep, jagged cut sealed with a nigh unnoticeable squelch, standing there for a moment as he tried to build the resolve to move. As he looked into the glass shard, he could see his reflection, and that horror was enough motivation to get him up and yearning for a shower. He dragged himself out of the dark alley, darting into another and ignoring the pain it caused. It would be rather oxymoronic to go out in the open when countless villagers and ninjas were out for his blood, after all. He twisted through back alleys, rarely used roads and abandoned warehouses, knowing the quickest and safest way home like the back of his hand. He was about 3 blocks away from his apartment, or what little was probably remaining from it, when, with a loud resounding thwack, something slammed into his forehead, knocking him into a trash can. Naruto had always firmly believed in the great benefits of doing nothing for the sake of nothing, procrastination with perhaps a little bit of picking yourself up in between. So, with that in mind, he lay on the rigid metal of the trash can, barely smelling the decaying waste due to his blood-covered skin. However, you couldn't spell Naruto without curiosity. Please keep in mind that spelling is not his forte, not even in the top 20 strongest points, and thus, Naruto got up, stretched his back and picked up the object which had assaulted him. It turned out to be a black, leather-bound book, simply titled The Holy Book of Log. Naruto almost laughed at the odd name, so inconspicuous, yet it changed Naruto's life. He opened the first page, noticing that it was not made of paper. In fact, it smelled rather oddly like rice. Using what little knowledge he had of reading, he read, "And thus I came unto thee, in a fit of blinding pain," the irony of which Naruto couldn't help just snort at. "I bring enlightenment, justice, safety and protection for thee, as I am, the log." Naruto sat enraptured, turning the next page, and the next, and the next, devouring the tiny black text. Night fell, and the old man began to worry for Naruto. He had not heard from the young one all day, and while that was not an unusual occurrence, it was the 10th of October, each year. The Sandaime seemed to age 5 years on this date as he saw what horrors the villagers unleashed on the young blonde boy. Hiruzen placed his pipe back in a drawer, stamping the last of his paperwork and getting up, his back creaking in protest. Deciding to call it a day, he began to search for the young blonde. He could have, perhaps, let one of his subordinates handle this, but as usual it would end in disaster. He had learned his lesson the last times. The nurse replaced his blood supply with highly toxic poison. Accidental, he was assured. The Onbu just arrived in time when they started attacking, but unfortunately had to return to the other side of the village as he had forgotten his kunai, most likely his camera. The man could not get a good hold on the bloody and beaten Naruto, so he couldn't refrain from dragging the boy across the ground, hitting a couple of metal signs and trash cans, not to mention rocks and trees on the way to the hospital. The med-nin had meant to use the mystical palm jutsu, but botched up a seal, thus accidentally activating a retching jutsu. Of course, no one bothered to deactivate it till poor Naruto was vomiting blood and air. You get the point. It took just under a minute for the wizened old man to find the blonde, the stench of blood strong in his nose. He came across Naruto sitting cross-legged, chanting a mantra. "Praise be to the log, savior of ninja." The blonde intoned monotonously. "What in the name of Kami's beard are you doing?" the old man asked incredulously. In his surprise, he totally ignored the blood-covered, filthy look. Naruto's eyes flew open, flinching as if slapped, immediately coming to attention. "Sarutobi Gigi. I have been blessed with enlightenment. I have a new object of worship," Naruto said, before gasping. "No. Not object. Living, filled with holy life sap, praise be to the log. For with the log I may find peace, a never-breaking bond which I will honor with my life. Kawarimi." And with that simple hand seal, Naruto was replaced with a log, approximately the size of a toddler. Naruto, now behind Sarutobi, ran back to his original place, taking the log and hugging it reverently. "Bless thee, for I shall always be with you, and you I." Naruto chanted, rubbing the log affectionately. By now Hiruzen was a bit scared. This was weird, even for Naruto. "Naruto, how did you learn Kawarimi? In fact, who taught you to even use chakra?" Sandaime asked, still confused. Naruto merely picked up the black book which had been in his lap the whole time. "This book is my savior, Gigi," Naruto exclaimed. "It is teaching me the ways of the logs, veering me from the path of darkness and into the path of bountiful goodness. I have just learned the most basic of jutsus." "So it's a jutsu book?" Hiruzen asked, unable to make heads or tails from the situation. "No. It's a holy book." "Holy book? Naruto, are you okay? Did you take any pills? I told you not to smell the orphanage Kara's sugar." Naruto calmed down a bit, staring at his worried leader. "I have never been better, for now I have the log." "What are you going on about? What is this log?" Sandaime asked, the subject beginning to grate on his nerves. "The log has always been with us, Gigi, from the very beginning of ninja. We have a bond, forgotten and spat upon by modern ninja, yet despite this neglect the log always saves us." "Naruto, are you talking about the Kawarimi no Jutsu?" the aged Hokage asked. "As the log takes your place, you become the log. The log becomes you. For a moment, you are an extension of the log's blessing unto ninja." Naruto quoted reverently, "Book of the Log, Chronicle of the Replacement, verse 3. "Can I see that book, Naruto?" the Hokage asked kindly. The youth gladly supplied the book, watching as the Hokage scanned through the pages. "Be careful, Gigi, it's made of rice paper, a prime example of log preserving." The book seemed to revolve around the role of the log in the Kawarimi no Jutsu, taking the hits for ninjas, etc. There was also several jutsu, mostly water, earth and for some reason, some Makuten. "Naruto, you can't read this book. Disbeliever!" Naruto shrieked. Perish thee at the hands of the log." "Naruto. Calm. This book contains several high-level jutsus, you could die if you try some of these." "But, Gigi, I must honor the bond between the log and I. How will I do this without the holy instructions?" The Sandaime pondered on the situation for a few seconds, before asking, "Naruto, you'll be entering the academy in 2 years for the 1-year-long course, right? If the log wills so." "It does. Anywho, how would you like to learn how to be a ninja from now?" the Sandaime asked. He expected an explosion, back-breaking hugs and happiness from the 7-year-old boy, however the kid just stroked the log he was holding. Naruto was torn, excitement warred with confusion and worry. He had always wanted to become a ninja, but now he discovered, ninjas were bad. They killed, hurt and mutilated logs every day. "But Gigi, ninjas hurt logs, taking it for granted that trees will just grow. How would you like it if I threw someone's child in the way of a fireball to save myself, and told you another kid would just grow?" Then Naruto remembered who he was talking to. "Wait, you're a ninja. In fact, one of the strongest. You hurt logs. Naruto, please, think of it this way." The Sandaime began, attempting to placate the child. "If you become ninja, you can better protect the logs, as they protect us," he said, fighting the urge to snicker. "If you don't become a ninja, how will you harness the powers of the log? In this book, there are jutsus to plant seeds, feed seeds nutritious materials, nurture seeds, heal trees and even make trees." "Make trees?" Naruto gasped. "Yes, make trees. However, that's a bloodline limit and you most likely do not possess the ability to harness it. The point is, you won't be able to help the log in any way if you don't become a ninja. Deal?" "But, everyone hates me," Naruto said dejectedly, losing his upbeat attitude. "Except you, of course." The old man began to feel happy that Naruto loved him so much, however the image was shattered as he noticed the boy looking reverently at the log in his arms. He let out a small squeak of protest. "Oh, yeah, you too, Gigi. Anyhow, I think if I can, I'll oversee your training personally." The Sandaime thought, thinking of what would happen if he entrusted the task with anyone else. "I tried to teach him a Katen jutsu but he botched up the hand seals and it accidentally exploded." "Really? Awesome," Naruto shouted. "But don't you have the boring paperwork to do?" Naruto asked. "Yes, but, I'll leave a Kage Bunshin with you to teach you." The Sandaime replied. "What's a Kage Bunshin?" Naruto asked. "A shadow clone." The Sandaime replied, already making plans to have his clone go over jutsu theory with Naruto later. "So why don't you leave the Kage Bunshin to do boring paperwork?" Naruto asked, confused. Was it something I said? Naruto asked, confused. You're a genius. Oh, why didn't I think of that? The Sandaime said, ignoring the loud plop of Naruto's sweat drop. And just for that, we can start training tomorrow. And so begun Naruto's journey into the world of ninja, a journey which he happily proclaimed was, in the name of the holy log. The Sandaime, with his new protege, were standing in the Sarutobi's personal, seal-protected training ground. Naruto had been worried that people would hate his Jiji for training the boy, but, the old man insisted that no one would ever find out. Currently, the Sandaime was testing Naruto's chakra capacity. Said boy sat on a large paper, complicated seals on each corner of said paper. Some would just use a jutsu and compare on how much they thought that drained them, but the Inbushi Chakra Jinmi Fun, 4-point chakra testing seal, could be used to find an exact estimate. The Sandaime flipped through the 17 hand seals, before touching each corner of the paper with a hand, glowing with pale blue chakra. As he touched the fourth, a square-shaped gray barrier, 3 meters high, surrounded Naruto. Now, Naruto, the Sandaime said, getting the youth's attention. Do you remember how to take out your chakra? Yes. Ram seal and then pull it out. Well, good. I want you to take out as much as you can. Wait, what happens? Naruto asked. This technique can give me a rough estimation of wherein your chakra capacity levels lie. It changes color, depending on the amount of chakra, the least being green, the most being blood red. Okay. Here goes. Naruto focused, setting his hands in a ram seal. Immediately he was surrounded with a ghostly blue outline, making the barrier turn green. Closing his eyes to better focus, Naruto pulled more out, more, as much as he could. He would become a strong ninja, in the name of the log. The Sandaime's hat flew off its owner's head, seemingly possessed. The harsh winds generated pulled and tugged at the Sandaime's cloak, but right now he was focused on one thing. The boy was surrounded by ghostly blue energy. It would have likely been flames, spanning for, roughly, 2 meters in every direction, but due to the barrier it went straight up in an eerie blue column. Thank Kami for the Inpei no Fun, seals of hiding, the barrier rapidly streamed through a myriad of colors. Green, turquoise, blue, purple, yellow, orange, finally stopping at blood red, leaving the Sandaime was awestruck. If this was true, then this 7-year-old boy had the chakra of 3 jounins. Alright Naruto, that will be enough. The Sandaime exclaimed, releasing the barrier just as Naruto stopped the flow of chakra. You did excellently. That was truly amazing, he said, answering the unasked question. And with this power, I will protect the log, Naruto exclaimed, his inner zealot making itself known. Come on Jiji, let's go learn some jutsu. However, Jiji would not be budged. Naruto, we will work on the basics. If you want to ever use any of the more complicated techniques, you will need to achieve much higher levels of finesse with your chakra. You will need to learn taijutsu and genjutsu, learn to manipulate earth and water chakras, there's a long way to go. Speaking of which, I want to see something. The Sandaime was not originally going to do this for several years down the line, but, seeing as Naruto's chakra was already so strong, it may just be possible. With that thought in mind, the Sandaime pulled out a small piece of paper, giving it to Naruto, who instantly bowed his head, offering a prayer to the log which was mutilated for this purpose. Deciding not to comment on the weird ritual, the Sandaime began instructing. Naruto, could you please channel some chakra into the paper? Hi. At first it was difficult to channel without a seal, to which the Hokage decided that they would soon fix that, but never one to give up. After a minute of a concentrated looks, the paper glowed blue before giving the results. The paper ripped in half. I can't believe it. This young and he already has elemental capabilities? The Sandaime thought, awestruck. Just when he was about to announce Naruto's element, the 2 halves of the paper once again changed. One half became soggy, drooping out of Naruto's palm, falling to the floor, while the other crumbled into brown dirt. Wow. Naruto, you know this shouldn't be physically possible? You have 3 elements at age 7. The Hokage said, awed. Awesome. Which elements? Air seems to be your most outstanding, with earth and water close behind. Epic. I can help the trees and logs with my water and earth, Naruto exclaimed. Let's begin. The professor pondered on a stray thought for a minute. I wonder. If the tests of the Inbushi Chakra Jinmi Fun are anything to go by, then he is more than able, in fact, he is probably most suited to it. However, before I introduce it, maybe we should teach him the basics. Okay Naruto, look at these scrolls. The Sandaime said, taking out 3 scrolls for the young boy. Each was a taijutsu scroll, giving general descriptions, with pictures of example moves. I know all three of those styles, so before you decide I can give you a quick example. But Gigi, why do you know 3 taijutsu styles? Naruto asked, taking the first scroll, labeled Senkuken, Flash Fist. Well, there are several reasons, but there are 2 outstanding examples. First of all, I wanted to be flexible. I didn't want to be stuck with one style, otherwise, when there is a weakness in it which others can exploit, I would be at disadvantage. He explained, Naruto's mouth forming a silent O. As well as that, you need to be proficient in at least 9 styles to become a jounin, so that was a motivation. Anyhow, I see you have the flash style which revolves around pure, devastating speed and accuracy to decimate your opponent with hand-based moves. Here, I'll give you an example. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Another copy of the aged Hokage was formed, the said doppelganger getting into a basic academy style. The real Hokage slipped into the Senkuken stance, before rushing to his temporary opponent. All Naruto saw was after images. He blinked, and the Kage Bunshin had puffed in smoke. He was awed at the old man's display of speed and agility. He wordlessly opened the second scroll, titled Toraken, Tiger Fist. Without further ado, the Hokage once again made a clone. This time the style was ruthless and brutal, strong, but fast. This style can also be utilized with weapons. The Hokage said, pulling out 6 senbon from his pocket, which he had brought specifically to show the child. He carefully arranged them on his hands, using chakra to stick them to his knuckles, once again beginning the clawing, cat-like motions of the Toraken. After the demonstration, Naruto picked out the last was labeled Tokaken, Shield Fist, a defensive style revolving around solid blocks, parries and counters, which the Hokage demonstrated again. So what do you want? The Hokage asked. All of them, Naruto said, but, before the Hokage could reject the idea, he said, but I'll learn the Tokaken first, please. I don't think I'm strong enough for Toraken or fast enough for Senkuken, but I will learn them someday. And so began Naruto's taijutsu training. After 3 hours of training, a battered, tired, but satisfied Naruto sat down in front of a steaming cup of green tea. Under the kind visage, the Sandaime was evil, Naruto was now sure of it. That wasn't training, it was torture. For the first hour they had gotten the basics of 5 katas down, and for the next 2 hours, Naruto would find himself slammed face first into the ground for the smallest of mistakes. His resolve never weakened, as the holy log was with him the whole time. They sipped the green tea in a comfortable silence, Naruto with the book of log in front of him the whole time. After around 10 minutes of break, they got back to lessons. The professor promptly got up, ripped a leaf of an acorn tree and walked back. Naruto gasped, before angrily glaring at the disbeliever. He walked up to the tree, muttering apologies and something that sounded like unrespectful old geezers. The blonde then picked an acorn off the tree, making a small hole a few meters away to plant it, before returning to the Sandaime, who decided, for the sake of his sanity, not to comment. Naruto, watch what I do and try to guess how I'm doing it. The Sandaime instructed, taking the leaf and sticking it to his forehead with chakra. Naruto squinted at it, before deciding. You're sticking it to you with chakra? Yes, but how? Naruto pondered some more. You make a sort of suction cup? To stick it? The old man positively beamed when the young boy got it so quickly. So, he instructed the boy to try it himself. Naruto took the leaf, tenderly, apologizing for taking it from its family and muttering something about passing on to the forest of life, which once again, Sandaime carefully ignored. Fshoo-oh-oh. The leaf flew, landing several meters away, slamming against a tree. Sorry leaf, tree, Naruto said, cringing sadly. With such terrible chakra control I don't know how he managed to learn the Kawarimi in an hour. Maybe. Okay Naruto, since you have so much chakra, we'll not be doing this the conventional way. The Sandaime said, before pulling out a scroll with the kanji for weight on it. He channeled some chakra into it, leaving him with a 5-kilo piece of paper in his hand. Most start with small, light objects, getting larger to build chakra capacity, but since control is your problem, not capacity, we'll be working backwards. He explained, giving the weighted paper to Naruto, who once again apologized to the paper. The Sandaime fought the urge to smack his head. We may have another Mito guy on our hands. Out in Takigakure. The spandex-clad man was just about to punch the missing nin, instead stopping to sneeze violently on the man's face. Someone speaks of my youthfulness. Naruto took the paper, surprised at the weight, but nevertheless, placed it on the palm of his hand. He gathered the chakra necessary, molding it to his will, before turning his hand over. The weighted paper drooped slightly, holding for a second, before falling down to the floor, disgruntling the young boy. In the name of the log, I will try again and again, and if I cannot finish by the end of the hour, I will stay all night trying to do it with the 20 kilograms, Naruto exclaimed loudly. For some reason, the Sandaime shivered violently. Thwack, the missing nin fell to the ground, victim of one of Guy's almighty punches. The said Nuke Nin's teammate growled, charging at the spandex-clad man, planning to headbutt him in the face. The Konoha nin just cupped his hands around his mouth, reminiscent of a katen jutsu. The Nuke Nin's eyes widened, already too close and too fast to escape, so he just braced himself for the impact of, achoo, the most almighty sneeze he had ever felt in his life. He flew for a couple of meters before falling again. My youth is spreading on this youthful day. I will live up to the reputation of the youthful one. WHO speaks of my youth with fiery youthfulness. By the end of the hour, Naruto could keep it to his palm if he concentrated really, really hard, and even then it was unstable, falling if he got distracted. After the chakra exercise, they studied some jutsu theory, after which they studied ninja history. History I? Naruto whined. You're kidding me, right? We're ninja. We kick ass in the name of our friends and logs. Ignoring the last part, the Sandaime replied, we must study history so as to learn from others' mistakes, to see others' battle tactics, etc., etc. Many things can be learnt. Now, if you shut your trap, we can start. The Sandaime said cheerily. Now the Shodaime was the first Hokage of Konoha. In fact, he was the one who made Konoha. You see all these trees? He made them. Don't you mean he planted them, Gigi? Naruto asked. No. He made them. He had a rare control over wood, called Makuten. Naruto had hearts in his eyes. Did he worship the log? The Sandaime sighed, having hoped this wouldn't come up. He was the log pope. Kawaii 5555. Naruto screamed girlishly. He's my hero. This is going to be a long day. For the remainder of the year, that's how Naruto and the Hokage spent their days. The Hokage found himself with much more time and less stress now that he could use Kage Bunshin to deal with the least important matters, spending most of the extra time with the log worshipper. Said worshipper of logs spent 2 hours every morning meditating in the name of the log, another 2 hours afterwards strengthening his body and conditioning his muscles, followed by a half-hour relaxation session, in which Naruto showered, and read the book of log. Straight afterwards, the boy worked on the Tokuken for 3 hours, followed by 2 hours chakra control and 3 hours academics, everything ranging from maths and chemistry to ninja history and jutsu theory. Naruto's progress was solid, dedicating his work for the holy log. This left Naruto with around 3.5 hours each day to himself. For the first half of the year, Naruto had spent this time worshipping log, planting trees and studying the tree anatomy so that he may someday use the Rogu Chio no Jutsu, log healing jutsu. Then halfway through the year he had discovered the Henge no Jutsu, transformation technique, which changed everything. Suddenly a new boy appeared in the neighborhood, who if anyone asked was an orphan in the orphanage. The orphanage had so many wards that if anyone asked them about a 10-year-old black-haired unassuming boy, they'd be able to pick loads of examples. And so, Kuroke Kenshi came into being, doing odd jobs in his spare time for those who couldn't be bothered to hire for D-rank missions. Weeding, painting fences, babysitting. The only one who knew of Naruto's second persona was the Hokage himself, who even redirected some D-rank missions for the young boy. Needless to say, the said boy not only gained a lot of extra pocket money, most of which he used to buy seeds or save, but he also gained a lot of chakra control from keeping up a constant henge for several hours at a time. And so approached beat on Naru Day. But this time, Naruto thought of it as a test of his ninja skills. Throughout the whole day, anyone searching for Naruto to vent some pent-up frustration would find them ruthlessly attacked with paint-filled balloons. At around 6, Naruto went to visit the Hokage in his secret Sarutobi training area while a Kage Bunshin gave the annual speech for the Kyuubi walked into the grassy clearing to find a small table, with 2 chairs on either side. On the table was a variety of food prepared by the Sarutobi household servants, even though they weren't told who for. Oh, and everything was log-shaped. The sandwiches looked like 2 halves of a log, with brown-dyed fillings, ranging from the meaty to the cheesy. There were small, sweet rolls and buns, shaped like logs, cups which looked like hollow logs and a cake, shaped like, of course, a log. Awesome! Naruto screamed. Thanks Gigi. The two of them chatted for a while, before beginning to eat. Itadakimasu. The old Hokage said, grabbing a log burger. I thank the holy log for blessing me with the food in front of us, and in its name I eat, Naruto exclaimed, taking a log cupcake. They both enjoyed the food, Naruto just happy that his Gigi, with whom his bond had strengthened tenfold in the last year, had thought to throw him a party when he could be enjoying his time with other adults. Said Hokage pulled out 8 candles, all shaped like twigs, of course, and impaled them into the cake, lighting them. Make a wish. Sarutobi instructed, before Naruto blew out the candles, allowing the Hokage to cut it up and give him several slices of what seemed to be log chocolate cake. Now, presents. The Hokage said happily. Naruto's eyes widened, having not expected such a thing. He allowed himself to be led away from the table to a tree in the corner. The Sandaime brought chakra to his right hand, tapping 15 hidden spots on the tree, finally, pulling down a branch, a disguised lever, and allowing some blood to spill on one of the leaves. With a grinding sound, the tree sunk into the ground, leaving a hole with a ladder descending down. After you, the Sandaime said to Naruto, who climbed down the ladder followed by the aged Hokage. He walked into a dark corridor, dark until the Sandaime activated torches with a burst of Katen chakra on each, which stopped at a dead end with a door at either side. Naruto looked up questioningly, to which the Hokage said pick. Going with his left side, Naruto opened the door, finding himself in a large room filled with all manners of weapons and armors from all over the elemental countries. Naruto was left awestruck. Gigi, this is all amazing, but why are you showing me it? Naruto asked, puzzled. For your birthday, pick 3. 1 weapon, and 2 of whatever else you want, and I'll teach you how to use them since I think you're mature enough to use weapons now. Thank you, Gigi, Naruto said, squeezing the old man. Need, breath. Gigi said, breathing heavily as he was released. Naruto was running around frantically, trying to choose. It took some time, but eventually Naruto chose. He came back to the Hokage with some lightweight stealth boots with chakra conductive soles and tips, a pair of fingerless black gloves, reinforced with threads of chakra conducting obonite ore to protect his hands and possibly be of use in some jutsus, and, his final choice really confused the old man, a jet black whip, 2 meters long, with an ivory handle. Why the whip, Naruto? There was an instruction manual next to it, Naruto said, pulling out the said paper, and apologizing to the log which was mutilated for it. So? You do know whips are very very hard to use and can be complicated? A sword would be much easier. I know, Naruto said. Look. The blonde channeled chakra into the handle, a blue kanji glowing. With a snapping sound, the whip became a double-sided cross between a staff and a spear. Ah, it's that whip. My grandfather, Sarutobi Sasuke, wielded it. I hope you'll honor his memory. I will, Gigi. This is the best birthday ever. It's not over yet. Come. Gigi said cheerily, exiting the door, closely followed by a hurrying Naruto. They entered the other door, finding themselves in a huge library full of scrolls. This is the Sarutobi library. Pick 5 jutsu and I'll teach them to you, but if they're higher than B rank then it'll have to wait till later on this year. Naruto, for lack of a better word, squealed. This was heaven to his 8-year-old mind. Once again, it took some time before Naruto could choose, but eventually he came back holding 5 scrolls. What did you choose? Sarutobi asked kindly. The Uzumaki child began to read his choices. Fuuten, Kazike, Wind Release, Wind Whip, Doden, Tsuchibue, Earth Release, Earth and Protection, Suten, Jinsoku Tama, Water Release, Rapid Shot, Fuuten Shikurainuki Renda, Wind Release, Thousand Cuts Barrage, and finally, Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. You have quite the fanatism for elemental jutsu. The Sandaime comment. No. My fanatism is all for the holy log. Anyway, thank you so much. This has been the best birthday ever. I have one last present for you, Naruto. I'm going to teach you, the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto gasped. Really? Thanks to his ninjutsu theory, he knew all about the training capabilities and was well aware of the possibilities, especially with his chakra capacity. Anyway, the hand signs for the Kage Bunshin is. The Sandaime began as they left the storage area. Specific to the jutsu. I know I've been begging you to teach me this for a year, remember? Well, go on then, give it a go. Sandaime encouraged. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. For a second, the world was smoke. Smoke in every direction, an unpenetrable haze, hiding the much-awaited results. And the results did not disappoint, if anything, they left the 2 real people there ecstatic. Naruto was everywhere. On trees, on the Sarutobi household, it was as cramped as a KFC chicken pen. Clones were everywhere, a mass of blindingly bright orange jackets and blonde mobs of hair. The best thing was that, Naruto hadn't even broken a sweat. Naruto, how many clones do you think you just made? I think, around maybe, 700. Naruto said, estimating in his head. Sarutobi's jaw dropped. 700 clones? For an 8-year-old? Well, I think that's enough for today. You can dispel them. No. Naruto replied. Before Sarutobi could talk, he turned to his clones. 100 of you go do chakra control exercises. He ordered, pointing to a bunch on his left. Hi, boss. They replied, running off to some obscure training ground. Yes, the 250 on my left. Split into groups of 50 and practice each of these jutsu. Hi, boss. They replied. Since all the objects on person got replicated too, they found the 5 scrolls in their pockets. Before ordering the next batch, Naruto turned to the stunned Hokage for permission. Can I use your library? The normal one? Sure. 20 of you go to Gigi's library and study everything you can get your hands on. Now the last 300 or so, Dispel one by one, Gigi shouted. You've already got a lot of clones out there, probably going to train until their chakra finishes, so best not to overdo it. Now, off you go Naruto. See you here tomorrow, 7 a.m. sharp. Hi, Gigi-sensei. Naruto turned to leave, sprinting away, but stopping at the edge of the training field. And Gigi? Thank you. For everything. May the log be with you. That night, when he got home, Naruto summoned another 50 clones to begin the first jutsu in the Book of Log. With the Suten, Junsei Mizu no Jutsu, water release, pure water's technique, he would be able to feed and grow saplings with pure, clear spring water. And that's how you throw a kunai. The Sandaime finished, pointing at the steel weapon firmly embedded, bullseye into the target. And with the end of that explanation, Naruto's weapon training begun. While Naruto repeatedly threw the kunai at the leather, foam-filled target, Sandaime pondered the start of the explanation. Flashback: Naruto shut the Holy Book of Log, walking over to the range training side of the field. He found the Sandaime already sitting there, a bunch of kunai on his lap. Ah Naruto, he exclaimed. Today we start weapon training. I know you want to learn the whip, spear staff and such, but first you must learn the basics. Flashy movements when throwing kunai are unnecessary and often will just ruin the aim and speed. He explained, picking up a kunai. Naruto let off a strangled shriek when he threw it with a flick of his wrists, slamming into the vaguely human-shaped mannequin up front. Hiruzen Sarutobi 5. Naruto screamed angrily. The logs. End flashback. Needless to say, the Hokage soon found a sufficient replacement. By the end of the hour, Naruto could hit a target bullseye 3/10 times, and hit the target 7/10 times. Needless to say, he needed work, because a ninja would rarely be stationary when throwing kunai. Naruto. Sarutobi called. Time for a spar. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. The Kage Bunshin only had 40% strength, but that was still more than enough, and such, Sarutobi still had to pull his punches. Hi, Sensei. Naruto chanted, getting into his Tokuken style. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A dozen clones appeared, about to charge the Hokage's clone, who simply flipped through hand seals. Katen, Kane Kasui. Fire release, flame stream. Instantly, a stream of flame slammed into the clones, dispelling them. It was about to hit Naruto, who hesitantly used his own jutsu. Kawarimi. Naruto stared in horror at the blackened log which had saved him from the jutsu, sending a silent prayer of sorrow and thanks to it. The Hokage was about to attack again, but Naruto solemnly held up a hand to stop him. Gigi, what rank was that jutsu? B rank. Why? Naruto didn't answer, instead opting to make a clone. Said clone took a pen and paper out of Naruto's pocket, before running to a table to begin writing. Naruto, what is he doing? Writing a 1,500-word apology to the log, before burying it with a new seed so that it may reborn. When using the log to escape a fire jutsu, it is Konohan custom to write an apology letter to the log, and depending on rank of jutsu escaped from depicts how many words are needed. C rank, 2000, B rank, 1,500, A rank, 1,000. Only S rank and higher are excused from the writing of the letter. Even then, it is still recommended. Naruto explained, quoting the log excerpt number 124. Naruto, that's not Konohan custom, though, Sandaime said quietly. Well, it should be. Naruto screamed, before calming down. I've already accepted you as a disbeliever, so let us just continue. They got back into their stances, Naruto staying in place. The Sandaime rushed at him, attacking fiercely. Naruto ducked the roundhouse kick, jumped away from the heel kick, blocked the thrust to his stomach and slapped away the punch aimed at his face. He knew for a fact that if the Sandaime had gone full on, then even with a Kage Bunshin then he'd already be dead. Once again the Sandaime attacked. High punch, low kick, scissor kick, uppercut, left hook, they danced a dance of taijutsu, one on the defensive, one on the attack. Pain blossomed in the blonde's jaw as the Hokage's foot collided with his face. He was sent flying, but drawing on the vigorous lessons of how to fall, he backflipped in the air, regaining his bearings. He was already going through hand seals, albeit quite slowly due to his vast inexperience with jutsu. Fuuten, Kazike. The wind began to form around his arm, lengthening to a whip, before spluttering out. Damn it. They fought a bit some more, the Sandaime mainly testing Naruto's taijutsu skills. By the end of the sparring session, he guessed that Naruto was maybe B rank with his Tokuken, but still needing a lot of work in its offensive areas. It was a defensive style, but there was still lots of offensive moves which Naruto had yet to master. For the past year, they had done naught but chakra control when it came to jutsus, thus Naruto was, at least, Junon level there. A far shot better than the rubbish he was working with before, though. With that in mind, the Sandaime decided to start Naruto's elemental training. Naruto, make 150 clones please. The Sandaime asked, before making 3 of his own. Each of his 3 clones took 50 of Naruto's to a corner to teach them elemental manipulation. It wasn't actually mandatory to learn it, but once you did it would make using such jutsu a lot easier. Naruto, we need to work on the speed at which you make hand seals. Right now you're slow, very very slow. Naruto pouted at the degrading comment, but decided that, in the name of the holy log, he would not complain. Just as he was about to begin, he heard a shout. We will not be cutting leaves in half. Holy log Sandaime. Naruto began to glare at his teacher, who gulped nervously. But what could they use instead of leaves? Naruto would whine just as much about papers. Ah well, he'd just have to put up with some whining. He went up to the wind element training group, the real Naruto glaring holes in his back the whole time, before instructing his clone to take out the 50 papers he had sealed in a scroll. All the Narutos were about to scream when the cage tried to hand it out, but a hand from the real deal silenced them. These are not real papers, just shadow cloned ones. It's okay to practice on them, he said before leaving. The clone still didn't like it, but decided that if the log needed him to learn this power to protect it, he would learn it. After the day's training was over, Naruto got into a meditative position. He recited some passages from the holy book of log for a bit, before he sent a clone to tell his other clones, which had been training with the elements for a good 9 hours or so now, to dispel one by one. Clearing his mind, Naruto carefully organized and reviewed all the information that was sent to him. No significant progress in water or earth, but wind. He took a paper out of his pocket, praying that the log which was mutilated for this purpose go to the forest of life, however also knowing that it would be one more ninja not saved by the log. He focused his chakra, covering the slip of paper with both hands. He tried to grind the chakra into a sharp-edged wind, before guiding it to ravage the paper. A small tear appeared in it, but otherwise, he knew he still had a lot of work to do. Of course he hadn't expected it to work straight away, but 9 hours with 50 clones, 450 hours. He felt that should have borne some fruit. He then tried to drench the paper in water, but could do no more than make a small corner wet. He quickly moved on to Doden, scooping up a handful of mud, trying to control it with his mere chakra. That failed too. The Sandaime, only a few meters away, saw Naruto's disappointment, decided to explain. Naruto, listen, what you're doing now is not necessary at all. In fact, it's one of the 2 steps for making new jutsu, not just using them. Huh? What I mean is that, right now, you could still learn the Fuuten, Kazike, wind release, wind whip, without this training. Okay, but, I don't really get it. The Sandaime pondered a bit, before talking again. Okay, think of this analogy. Let's say, someone didn't know how to eat with chopsticks, and you had to teach them. If learning a wind jutsu was teaching them to eat with chopsticks, then doing what you've been practicing is learning to make chopsticks. Oh, I get it. So after I learn how to do this properly, then I can make jutsu? Yes, but you'd also need to be able to shape the chakra as you want it to be. You might be able to generate the cutting winds, but if you, say, wanted to make a jutsu which throws a wind spear, you'd have to be able to shape the chakra correctly. Oh, Naruto said happily. Kage Bunshine no Jutsu. 200 clones popped into existence. Naruto immediately directed 150 to work on elemental manipulation, 50 for each element, while the other 50 were instructed to learn chakra control. However, before they could do so, the Sandaime decided to teach them a new method. He ushered for the clones, and the original to follow him to the largest tree in the training ground, planted and nurtured specifically for this purpose, a good 20 meters high and a thick, 1.5 meter diameter. I will now teach you the art of tree walking. You must focus a specific amount of chakra onto your feet to allow you to climb, which is hard enough, but too much and you will repel off, too little and you will fall. Which reminds me, the Kage said, pulling out a scroll. He gathered some chakra, sending it in, before saying Kushios, Shuron Cushion no Jutsu, summoning technique, training cushioning. Instantly, heavily cushioned foam-filled training mats appeared, which the clones arranged around the tree. If one clone popped for every mistake, then the Sandaime suspected the 50 clones would last approximately 50 seconds. Anyhow, young man, let your clones train and don't forget to do meditation when they dispel. Don't want to wake up to find you in the hospital, comatized. Hi, sensei. Good night, Gigi, Naruto said, before making his way to his home. It was only just 6 p.m., a good amount of light was left in the sky and people were still up and about, working. Naruto ignored all the glares, whistling a merry tune as he walked through the streets. Ooh, I can't wait to begin making jutsus. I'll kick ass and take names, protecting logs all day long. However, Naruto's thoughts were cut off by a shrill scream of my baby. He looked to the source, finding a 4-year-old girl walking in the middle of the road to get her ball, right in the path of a speedily approaching horse-drawn carriage. The rider, horse, mother and toddler all looked horrified, waiting for the imminent crash. Boom, and crash it did. The sound of horses' hooves smacking flesh could be heard, the carriage smashing into pieces at the sudden resistance, the riders, an important noble couple, being sent flying out the back. The little toddler screamed in what seemed to be agony, the smoke covering all from the view. The mother started sobbing, a nearby store clerk coming to comfort her. The smoke cleared, everyone expecting to find the mangled body of a 4-year-old, blood and all, but however were treated to a different sight. Valiantly covering the young girl with his own body was an 8-year-old blonde boy, whom everyone recognized as the demon. The little girl escaped from the iron grip, running to her mother, who was now sobbing happily, hugging the girl. Said mother looked up at the impromptu savior, who was now getting up, dusting himself off. Thank you, so much, she said. You saved my baby girl. Oh, it was nothing, Naruto said, looking at the woman she had saved. Wide, white Hyuga eyes stared back at him. Oh wait, your form the Hyu, why? The last thing he heard was a gasp, before everything went black. When Naruto woke up, he found himself in a dripping area reminiscent of a sewer. He was standing in water, up to his ankles, but he didn't actually feel wet at all, it just felt like walking through water while covered in Vaseline. A large, metal barred cage quickly drew his attention. A paper, on which was written seal, was stuck next to the bars, from which a very evil intent seemed to be radiating. Naruto walked straight up to the source of evil. He was treated with an eye full of dark, menacing red eyes, sharpened teeth, a somehow evil-looking snout and bunny ears? Naruto said out loud, his voice echoing. A horrible, breathtaking roar was the reply, a monstrous, 40-foot fox coming into view. Bunny ears? It screamed. Bunny ears? How dare you, puny mortal. If it weren't for this damned cage, I'll gut you and hang you by your testicles. Naruto winced at the less than welcome image, before turning back to the large cage. Eesh, say it, don't spray it. He was treated with another roar, a large, red paw slamming into the front of the cage, as if to attack Naruto. Husa, my friend. Calm down. Grrr. So, who are you? Naruto asked. I? Who am I? The fox-like creature asked. I am the king of the demons, the most terrifying sinister thing known to man, able to flatten mountains and conjure hurricanes with a simple thought. I've killed millions without a second thought, indeed, without even a first. I lurk in humans' nightmares, but you have bunny ears. Naruto pointed out, eliciting an angry growl. Boy! You are talking to the immortal, invincible Kyuubi no Yoko. How dare you? I'll smash you to a pulp. The fox threatened. PFF, smash me to a pulp? I'm still waiting to be gutted and hung by my testicles. Besides, the log will save me. Before Kyuubi could retort, Naruto caught on to something. Wait, you're the Kyuubi? So what the hell are you doing here? Where in the name of the holy log are we? We are in your mindscape, puny human. Ha, I really do have a mind like a sewer. And if you're any indication, thoughts like sewage. So, what are you doing in my mind? Have a habit of jumping people's thoughts, or has my mind just constructed you? The Kyuubi growled at the sewage barb. Careful what you say, impudent whelp. I can make your life hell, and I've killed for less. But rest assured, puny mortal, I am the 100% real Kyuubi, in the flesh, chakra. Anyway, I'm not here 'cause I want to be here. I'm here because that infernally idiotic blonde-haired cage sealed me into your stomach. The only thing that kept me sane is knowing that he's in eternal torment with the Shinigami. Wait. Why you're sealed in me? My stomach? Then, Naruto fainted. He woke up again, seeing white, thinking he was hallucinating or something. Then the strong smell of disinfectant filled his nostrils, and he knew he was hospitalized. Naruto, nice to see you finally awake. The Hokage said from a plastic chair to his right. Rather heroic of you. Aged 8 and you're already saving princesses. Princesses? Naruto asked dully, still waking up. Yes. You saved Hyuga Hanabi, youngest daughter of the clan head Hiashi. Quite a feat, young man, I'm sure the Holy Log would be proud. Really? Naruto said, positively beaming. Yes. Now the doctor says I should leave you to rest, so I'll see you later. We won't continue training till tomorrow, you took quite the beating. Broken ribs, permanent scars, anyway, bye Naruto-kun. The Hokage turned to leave, and just as he got to the door, Naruto spoke up, causing the Hokage to freeze and nearly laugh. Did you know the Kyuubi has bunny ears? Naruto asked accusingly. The Sandaime stifled a chuckle, knowing the situation did not call for it, carefully locking the door and sealing it shut as well as using a small jutsu to prevent prying ears and eyes. Is that why everyone hates me? Am I really a monster? A demon? No, Sandaime gasped. Don't ever think that. You are a perfectly fine specimen of a human ninja to be. But Gigi, would an evil, fearsome demon be a log worshipper? No. That's absurd. Would an evil, fearsome demon forgive thousands of villagers for constant abuse? Definitely not. Would an evil, fearsome demon save a little girl from impending doom, using themselves as a shield? Hell no. Thus, you are not an evil, fearsome demon. But, why me? Naruto asked. Why did he seal it in me? Well, Naruto. The Sandaime sighed. He couldn't really say the true reason. We could spend our whole lives saying, why me, and what if, but what good would that do? It's best just to prove yourself better, stronger than the problems you face. Prove to everyone that you are not the Kyuubi, but a faithful ninja protecting Konoha and the holy logs. Naruto cheered up at the pep talk before a knocking sound on the door got his attention. Gigi, someone's trying to get in. You should unseal it now. The Sandaime did just that, and in walked Hyuga Hiashi, his wife Hyuga Hokage, with their 2 daughters, Hanabi and Hinata. Ah Naruto, I'd like to introduce you to the Hyuga clan head, Hiashi, his wife, Hokage, and his 2 daughters, Hanabi and Hinata. Oh, Naruto stuttered at his impromptu visit. Hiashi-sama, Hokage-san, hi. I'll leave you alone now, Sandaime said, leaving. So, what brings you here? Naruto asked. We wanted to thank you for saving my daughter, Hanabi, Hiashi begun, the epitome of stoicism. The Hyuga clan owe you a life debt as of today, ask of anything and we will try to fulfill your wish. Yes, thank you so much for saving my daughter, Naruto-kun, Hokage said happily. I can only imagine what would have happened had you not been there. The Kyuubi chose that exact moment to show a mental picture of a mangled little girl, ripped into pieces, head rolling down the walkway. Naruto shuddered, eliciting confused looks from his visitors. Yay Naruto. Thanks for saving me, Hanabi said excitedly. Hiashi frowned at this obvious display of emotions, so beneath a Hyuga, but let it pass since Hanabi would only just start her training in a few weeks. Thanks for saving her, and Naruto. I don't know what IIW would have done had she, Hinata said, prodding her fingers together. Enough of that, the Hyuga clan head said, so Naruto, what would you like, so we may settle this life debt? Let it not be said that Hyuga Hiashi was without honor. Naruto thought for a minute. What did he really want? He had a trainer, a Gigi, weapons, the holy log.
I want, Naruto said quietly, barely heard, I want a friend.
Oh how very cliché. Honestly that's like, so cheesy. The Kyuubi commented in the back of his mind. Naruto frowned, deciding to bring the subject up with the Hokage later. Well, sorry to say Hiashi begun, but was cut off by his wife. Ruto that we can give you exactly what you need. The Hyuga patriarch glanced questioningly at his wife, who mouthed I'll explain later. In fact, why don't you come have dinner with us on Friday, maybe play with Hinata and Hanabi for Abbot. Sure, Naruto said, before turning to the 2 daughters in question. Hello. I'm Naruto, he said, having not introduced himself. The 2 girls giggled. What time should I come? I think around 4 p.m. would be suitable, Hiashi answered, giving ample time for you to play, He spat out the last word in mild disgust, but knew that without balance his daughter would end up like Hinata, a big, huge failure. With my daughters before and after the dinner. Hokage, let us go, leave the girls here to get to know him for a bit. We will come to pick them up in an hour. And with that the two adults left. Did you get any scars? Hinata asked eagerly. Something told Naruto that this was not normal, but he decided to indulge the girl. He lifted up his shirt, turning around to show the red, swollen skin. 2 hoof prints could be seen, as well as several deep cuts from shrapnel and the sharp edges of the horse's hooves. Hanabi winced. Wow. You took so much to save me. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Hanabi squealed, hugging the blonde. I can't wait till you come over. It's gonna be so fun. Can't, br. Seeing his blue face, Hinata decided to step in, pulling the young girl off her. So Naruto? Hinata asked shyly, what do you do in your spare time? Oh. Mostly I train to be a ninja. Naruto replied. Are you going to be a ninja? Of course. What type of Hyuga does not become a ninja? Hanabi scoffed. Have you started your training, Hinata? Naruto asked. Yes, I did, last year. But, she said, regaining her shyness. Weak. PFFT, Naruto said. I bet you could kick my butt any day. Hinata smiled, while Hanabi just scoffed. So what else do you do, Naruto-kun? Hanabi asked her savior. I worship the holy log. Plip-plop. Hanabi and Hinata sweat dropped, staring at Naruto, who was holding up a black leather-clad book, aptly titled The Holy Book of Log. You worship logs? Hanabi asked. As in like, the inanimate, dead logs? Hinata added. The Sandaime, watching the scene with his telescopic crystal ball, couldn't help but chuckle. The girls were just asking for it. No. They're alive. Filled with holy life SAP. The 2 girls just stared at the weird boy. Naruto, what are you talking about? Hinata asked, foregoing her stutter in favor for the worry for the boy's sanity. The logs that save ninja every day. The bond between us is unbreakable. More sweat drops. And as the smoke cleared, his foe stared in awe at the log. Blackened and charred, the log crumbled. The ninja, filled with righteous wrath, fell upon his foe and slew him. He made his way to the log, and wept. His companion, the log that had accompanied him through so many battles, was no more. He spoke thus to his fallen companion, though now you have fallen in battle, you rest where the logs forever grow. The forest of life called for you, and you answered its call, as you did mine. I thank you, my friend. Naruto quoted reverently. And Naruto-kun, are why you talking about the Kawarimi? If that stupid creature does not stop her infernal stuttering, I will rip her tongue out and use it to slap some sense into her. Kyubi raged. Exactly, Naruto said, zealot mode. All hail the holy log. All hail, Hanabi shouted, having read the first paragraph. Walking back home, Hiyashi shivered. He didn't know why, but he felt something terrible had been unleashed. The girls and Naruto kept chatting for a bit, though Hanabi mainly read the holy book of log. Deep inside, Naruto was feeling ecstatic, said feeling of ecstasy disgusting his tenant. Eventually, Hiyashi and Hokage came to collect the children. They bade their farewells, Hanabi with a vigorous "may the log be with you." Later on, Hiyashi would remember this as the day where everything went wrong with his youngest daughter. The next day, a Thursday filled with training, Naruto's Gigi took him shopping. Flashback, but there's nothing wrong with my orange jumpsuit. Naruto complained. Going to the strongest clan in the village with an orange jumpsuit would be a plain insult, especially if you want to play with their heiress. The Sandaime explained patiently. But, the orange. The holy log wants you to have friends, Naruto, Sandaime said pleadingly. I'm sure Hinata would like you much more without the orange jumpsuit. Naruto blushed furiously. With other clothes on. The Hokage corrected quickly. Well, if the holy log says so, Naruto said uneasily. Let's go. End flashback. Naruto found the whole experience surreal, having little to none experience to shops that didn't kick him out. Well, they didn't kick Kuroke Kenshi out, did they? Anyhow, Naruto, with funds from his ever-benevolent Gigi, ended up purchasing 3 posh kimonos, each with the same swirling design, which he found out was based on Uzushi Ogakur. One was a vivid cerulean, the other black, and the last, of course, orange. He also bought a gray training gi, as well as a black shuzoku, a set of training kunai and shuriken, and lastly visited the gardening store and bought a hell of a lot of seeds. The next day they stopped training at 3 p.m. so Naruto could get ready for his visit. He ran back home, this time with no carriage crashing incidents, showered, got ready and walked to the Hyuga mansion, arriving 5 minutes early. He was greeted to the sight of a huge mansion in the center of a complex full of dojos, gardens, kitchens, houses. He walked up to the gate, to the nearest white-eyed guard. "Hello." Naruto began, "I have a visit with Hyuga Hiyashi and his family. If it's not a bother, could you please show me where I should go?" he asked politely. "Sure," the white-eyed guard replied. He led Naruto straight to the biggest mansion, dropping him off at the door. "Thanks, Hyuga?" "Hyuga Hippo." "Hippo. Bye." Naruto watched for a bit as the Hyuga trailed away, before turning around to knock. Instantly, the door opened, revealing Hinata, in a white kimono embroidered with light pink rose designs, and Hanabi in a green kimono covered in designs of logs. "Hello Hanabi-chan, Hinata-chan." Naruto greeted cheerily. "Hanabi, your kimono is to die for. The holy log would approve." "Thank you Naruto-kun." The 4-year-old replied. Hinata appraised Naruto's cerulean kimono. Perfectly matched his eyes. "You look very nice too, and Naruto-kun." She replied. How is your injury?" "Oh, it's all healed up. Doctors said I'd have permanent scarring, but, PFFT, adults, what do they know?" Hiyashi and Hokage chose that exact time to reveal themselves, ushering all the children in. They exchanged greetings, had some tea, before going out in the garden to play a bit. 4 o'clock quickly became 5 o'clock, and before the children knew it they were settling down on a large, lace-covered table. The idle chit-chat resumed as food was served by servants, which Naruto found it absolutely delicious, but managed to retain the small amounts of etiquette and manners which the Sandaime, Tuchi and Ayame had been trying to beat into him for a long time. After dinner they sat in the dining room, each holding fine china cups full of mint tea. Hokage had insisted that the children not play straight after eating as they'd become sick, though, Naruto unhelpfully pointed out that he never got sick, to which Hokage replied curtly that there were other people to worry about. Naruto had the decency to look abashed. "So, Hinata, how's your training?" Naruto asked, sipping his tea. Hiyashi frowned, dismissing the idea that Naruto was trying to find out about the Hyuga clan's fighting techniques. "Oh, it's good." Hinata replied, absently sipping her tea. Hanabi sat next to her sister, devouring the holy book of log. "So Naruto, I hear you are planning to become a ninja?" Hokage asked. "Yep. First step on my way to Hokage." "Oh?" Hiyashi asked. "Have you begun to train?" "Oh yeah, I've been at it for a year now." "Who teaches you?" Hanabi asked innocently. Crap, Naruto thought, I can't tell anyone it's Gigi because everyone will hate him. But I don't know anyone really, I can't make anyone up. Well, I mostly teach myself. I learned some stuff from the holy book of log, and I sometimes ask Gigi for scrolls or help. Naruto replied, half sincere. Technically, he did teach himself the Kawarimi and some jutsu from the holy book of log. He had asked the Sandaime for help and scrolls, thus he wasn't outright lying. But Naruto-kun, Hinata said shyly. I don't want to offend you but I thought why you had no living. Seeing her obvious discomfort and worry that she would hurt his feelings, Naruto spoke up. Oh no, don't worry, no offense taken. By Gigi I meant the Hokage, he's always been nice to me, even when no one else was, kind of like a kind grandfather to me. Everyone was kind of stunned, but got over it quickly. All hail the holy log. Hanabi suddenly shouted. Hail the log, protector of shinobi. Naruto replied faithfully. Pray, tell, what is this holy log? Hiyashi asked, fighting the urge to sneer. The holy log protects us, Naruto said. It has been with us from the start of time, never abandoning us. Modern ninja have forgotten this ancient bond but still the log protects us. Hanabi added. What? Hokage asked. The great log is with us all the time, Naruto said sagely. Give thanks to log, for 'tis log that you will call upon in your gravest instant of need. The log will save you even if you don't want it, for log is not petty. The log will protect all shinobi, so 'tis better to give the appreciation that log rightfully deserves. Where did you get that from? Hiyashi asked, gradually worrying for his youngest daughter's sanity. Chronicles of the Log Ninja Zuzveio. Hanabi asked. Paragraph 7. So you worship logs? Hokage asked. Yes. Both Naruto and Hanabi replied. The dead, chopped up, extra logs? No. Hanabi protested. Filled with holy life sap. The two parents groaned. I still don't get it. Hinata admitted, worried about her sister and new friend. He despaired. Hanabi began to quote, for in this place of stone and earth, there was no logs to be found. Reaching out with all his might, he begged for a log in the forsaken wasteland and he was answered, and saved by the log, In a place where there were none. Wanderer's Saga, verses 7-9, Naruto added to the sweat-dropping Hyugas. Are you two talking about the Kawarimi? Hiashi asked carefully. Yes. Exactly. They both answered. Later that day, Hiashi. The Sandaime greeted as the clan head walked in. I was just about to leave, but I'm sure I can make time for whatever troubles you. Sit. The clan head took a seat, facing Konoha's leader. So how was Naruto's visit? I hope he did not cause any trouble. The Sandaime asked. Trouble? Trouble? Hiashi shrieked, before regaining his stoic, calm visage. The boy's insanity clouds him like a miasma, and he is already infecting my daughter's mind. People have worshipped demons, gods, idols, statues, even fairies, but a log? He is truly and utterly out of his mind. The Sandaime got up, making his way out. Before he left, he turned around and patted the Hyuga clan on the head. Don't worry, it will all get better. Wanting to rile up the stoic man, the Hokage also added, for the log is with us. The resulting shriek scared birds off for miles. Yes. Naruto screamed ecstatically, showing the Sandaime his torn piece of rice paper, which had been quite an inventive idea from the Hokage. I finally did it. The holy log will be protected with this power. He had quite a reason to be happy. After 2 weeks, 9 hours every day and 50 clones at it, which makes a whopping 262.5 days of non-stop work, Naruto had finally mastered, to some degree, wind element manipulation. He was about halfway there with his earth and water, but still had some work to do. Ahem. Sandaime coughed, getting the log-worshipping blonde's attention. Congratulations, learning it in 2 weeks is quite a feat, shadow clone or not. But we should really get back to our Senkuken, Flash Fist, lessons. Ah yes, the Senkuken. The old Cage had begun to teach the style to the boy last week, having judged the boy's skill with the shield fist a mid to high B rank. He hoped that teaching him the Senkuken would not only add a style to his arsenal and increase his speed but also show him some differences in style so that he may perfect each with that knowledge. They finished their training session, which had been interrupted by the impromptu knowledge of Naruto's success, after another 2 hours taijutsu, where Naruto began to read the holy book of log for another half an hour, before returning for another 2 hours of reflex honing, which Naruto more accurately described torture. He still vividly remembered his first session. Flashback Naruto, the Sandaime ordered, stand in this circle. Naruto stood in said circle, waiting dutifully. He let off a strangled yelp as he jumped to the side, barely avoiding a kunai. What the log, old man? Naruto asked angrily. Are you trying to kill me? No. I'm helping your body train its reflexes. I done wanna train my reflexes. Naruto pouted, sitting angrily on the floor. Ah, the Sandaime sighed sadly. But if you don't, every time someone throws a kunai, shuriken or even jutsu at you, you will be summoning, and killing logs. Think of the blasphemy. Boo, and if you die because you couldn't avoid a single kunai, who else will protect the logs? Silence for a minute, then. Fine. But you play dirty, old man. And flashback, the sessions would vary, sometimes he'd stand in a circle and avoid incoming weapons, and jutsus. Naruto shivered as he remembered, that had been a painful experience. Other times he might have a certain restriction, for example only allowed to block incoming projectiles. It was really quite fun, for Sandaime. Currently, the Sandaime had had a stressful meeting with the council, well his shadow clone did, and now needed to vent some frustration. Said Cage smiled sadistically at his charge. Achoo! Anko sneezed violently, spittle raining into the face of her Iwa opponent. Naruto, in his grey training gi, did not like that look at all. Log sustain me, he muttered quietly, sending a small prayer to the log. The Sandaime led Naruto to the large circle which they had been practicing this exercise before in. Naruto gulped audibly. Not this one, Gigi. Think of the logs, Naruto, all for the holy log. Sigh. Okay then, Gigi. For the log. And with that Naruto stood in the circle. With a strangled yelp, he jumped to the left, rolling again to the right, narrowly avoiding 2 shuriken. He felt a kunai approaching behind, so he ducked, before wearily keeping an eye out for more. Another kunai appeared and Naruto nearly screamed, before jumping as high as possible and doing a split. The kunai passed right under him. Gigi. Ha ha, nearly got you with that one. Kyuubi teased. Naruto frowned, having forgotten to talk to his Gigi about the Kyuubi talking to him. He vowed to tell him afterwards. He ducked under one aimed for his head, slapping away one which would have impaled his shoulder, though they were blunt, before flipping to the left to avoid 3 more. Then Gigi played dirty. Naruto heard a brief mutter of Shuriken Cage Bunshine no Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. With 25 consecutive popping sounds, one blunt kunai became 25 blunt kunai, all headed to one blonde. Said boy frantically ran through hand seals. 8-year-old and already impaled by kunai? Bad way to start one's ninja career. Doten, Tsuchi Bue. Earth release, earth and protection. With a shuddering, grinding sound, the ground in front of Naruto sprang up, curving down to shelter him in an elliptical shield. He found that he didn't have enough mastery over the jutsu to do a full covering earth shield, so he made it face the incoming shadow kunai. 25 kunai slammed into the earth wall, each making a blunt, ringing sound. Naruto dispelled the jutsu, watching as the kunai also dispelled. He thought it was over when more kunai started flying. Damn, he's frustrated. Naruto thought wryly, jumping over another kunai and kicking away a shuriken. 3 more kunai were sent simultaneously at the exerted boy, who didn't have enough time to form the shielding jutsu. He jumped over the first, allowing his body to become parallel to the ground. The second flew below him, the third flying so close it cut a lock of his unruly hair off. He merged the jump into a backflip, landing safely enough to roll away from the 2 shuriken which his sensei threw. Sensei was mean. After they finished, Naruto went up to the wizened Hokage. Gigi. Naruto began, getting his attention. It talks to me. The Sandaime knew exactly what it meant. Do you feel like, the urge to do bad things? To kill and hurt people? Sandaime asked carefully. If he did, then it could mean the seal was weakening. No. He just, comments. He? It. I don't know, can something that's scary be a woman? Hell hath no wrath like an angry woman. The Sandaime replied wisely. Anyway, hopefully I'll get someone too, make sure, everything's fine. Till then just ignore its suggestions and don't answer back. Oh okay Gigi. Now I have a surprise for you. The wizened Hokage said. Close your eyes. Naruto did so and quickly found a small booklet placed in his hands. He opened his eyes and read it. The Holy Log and I, a beginner's guide for the ways of the log. This guide is for the beginning log acolyte with a small amount of commandments and tips to start with your training into the ways of the log from the book of the Holy Log. These commandments were given to the very first log pope, a ninja called Woody, by the great tree of life which still stands to the day in Rogakure, village hidden in the log, the epicenter of all log believers. Commandments 1. Thou shalt never hurt a log purposely. 2. Thou shalt take care of the log and the log shalt take care of thee. 3. Every 365 moon cycles thou shalt make a crusade to the great tree and make an offering so the log will prosper. 4. When thou commits heresy thou will be transformed to a disgraced log and will burn eternally in the unholy fires of hell. 5. When thou hast died and lived the ways of the log dutifully thou shalt take place in the afterlife in the forest of life. These are the primary commandments and you must obey them always. When your training progresses you shall learn more of them. Nevertheless, here are tips to live by the log. 1. Always use rice paper. Using log paper is frowned upon. 2. At least pray thrice a day to the great tree. 3. Try, with thy utmost effort, to spread the holy teachings of log. 4. When evil is committed to in log, commit justice to the heretic. Keep in mind that 95% of the world are disbelievers and that these rules are not used in the government system, so act discreetly. 5. When you make an offering to the great tree always be respectful, even if the great tree does not answer. 6. Thou wilt find a companion in a log with which thee should go everywhere, and it shalt become thy traveller's log. 7. Where holy life sap is spilled plant a seed there so a tree may prosper there. 8. When writing the apology to the log who saved your life, name at least 5 reasons why you could not act otherwise. 9. When a log priest or pope is nearby, greet him and the log he carries. 10. If you follow the ways dutifully, the log pope may grant you with some life sap of the great tree itself. Drink it and may you be closer to the tree and the log. 11. When one of the messengers of the tree itself is nearby, bow for him, for the great log sage will only grace the holiest of worshippers with his advice, whether through messenger or not. 12. Embrace the squirrel summons as your companions if they grace you with their presence. All in all, these basic rules and tips are a great start to begin with the ways of the log, but remember there is always more to learn. Naruto read it again, before looking up at the Sandaime happily. Where did you get this? Naruto asked. Oh, the Shodaime had once tried to convince me to become a log acolyte, however, when I refused he gave me this. This was what he wrote personally on the subject. Sarutobi swore he heard bones crushing as Naruto hugged him. Note to self, slow down on the strength training. Thanks Gigi, this is the best present ever, Naruto said excitedly, before calming himself down. I mean, for a disbeliever, that is. Gigi, where can I get the squirrel summoning scroll? You can't. Huh? You can't. But why? It does not exist on the mortal plane of existence. The squirrel ninja summons are not among the strongest. Naruto's face fell. They are the strongest as they have the ability to mold chakra almost as effectively as humans do. However, they are the ones who initialize contact, and if they do, they will test you. Anyway, that is not for now. Can I end early? I really want to show Hanabi-chan this. Looking at the sun, the Hokage guessed that it was about 1 p.m. We can't end now, but we'll work some more and end at around 4 p.m. Awesome, Naruto exclaimed. Say Gigi, I heard that the academy took 4 years. Well, yes and no. What ya mean yes and no? In the name of the log, that is a terrible answer, Hiruzen sighed forlornly. He always cursed the person which had thrown the book out the window, unwittingly hitting the young boy. Yes, because most civilian families enroll their children for the 4-year course. No, because a lot of the clans and even some civilians enroll their children in the 1-year course. There is no difference in the material taught, but the 4-year takes it much slower. Oh. I get it. Also, the 1-year course people are allowed to fail up to 7 times, twice a year, once in the first year, totally 4 years, before they have to quit becoming a ninja. Oh. Okay. Now, let's get back to training. I need this power for the log. Once again the Hokage sighed, before focusing on his young charge. Okay then, out of the 5 jutsu I gave you 2.5 weeks ago on your birthday, how many have you learnt? Only 4. I've mostly focused my shadow clones on elemental manipulation, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. That's nothing to be ashamed about, the Sandaime reassured. Now, could you show me? Sure. First I have the, Naruto said excitedly, performing the necessary hand seals, Fuuten, Kazike no Jutsu wind release, wind whip technique. The whip formed around the kunai which Naruto took out, said Blonde slamming it into the ground, leaving a 1-foot deep groove. Then, as I showed you earlier, my Doten, Tsuchibue no Jutsu earth release, earth protection technique. The earth in front of the log acolyte shuddered, and with a grinding sound, formed a hemisphere around the blonde. I can't make the full sphere yet but I'm on my way. Okay, next there's the Suten, Jinsoku Tama no Jutsu water release, rapid shot technique. Naruto performed the necessary hand seals, dragging some water from a nearby pond. The water formed around 20 condensed, golf ball-sized balls which Naruto directed to shoot in rapid succession at a nearby boulder. The pressured water slammed into the rock, cutting small grooves for each water ball, leaving the boulder pockmarked with holes. Last but not least, Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu earth release, double suicide decapitation technique. Naruto sunk into the ground, disappearing from view, before reappearing behind the aged Hokage. I of course know the Kawarimi, and I've learned 2 jutsu from the Holy Book of Log. I thought I told you not to learn jutsus by yourself, Naruto. The Sandaime said disapprovingly. But the Holy Log commanded me to. Naruto whined. Ah well, if the Holy Log says so, who am I to argue? Will you show me them then? Naruto formed some hand seals, ending with an odd seal, the left hand, palm upwards, slightly curved, with the right hand grabbing the 4, upwards fingers of the left. Suten, Junsei Mizu no Jutsu, water release, pure waters technique. Pure water formed in Naruto's left hand, which he directed to flow into a seed which he had planted. Naruto looked slightly exerted as the water purely came from the air. The Sandaime touched the water, letting out a small pulse of chakra and could tell it was 100.00% pure, not a single impurity. It was quite refreshing too. Okay, good job Naruto. The Kage applauded as Naruto ended the jutsu. You said there was another? Ah yes, Naruto said, performing a sequence, once again ending with the odd seal. Daichioka, replace other. The Hokage felt a brief rush, before finding himself 10 meters away from the original spot, a log where he had been. Wow Naruto. Do you have any idea the potential of such a jutsu? You could use Daichioka on an enemy and make him fall into a pit of spikes or into the way of a Katen jutsu. The Hokage began, only to be cut off by his protege. No Gigi, that wouldn't work. Why not? The Daichioka can only be used when you have pure intent. If I wanted to save my friend from a Katen jutsu then it could work, but if I wanted to place my enemy in the way of a Katen jutsu then it would put me there instead. Oh. Oh indeed. Okay Naruto, good job so far. One question though, what was that odd seal at the end? Oh you mean this? Naruto said, placing his hand in the proper position. That's the log hand seal. The log hand seal? Sandaime asked dully. You've got to be shitting me. Peace of the holy log upon you. Naruto greeted his fellow log acolyte, who returned the greeting in turn. Boy Hanabi-chan, do I have something to show you, he said excitedly, handing her the leaflet. She quickly scurried to a comfy lounge chair which she had ordered, happening to be in the shape of the log. Where's Hinata-chan? Training. Hanabi replied after a few minutes, having not noticed him talking at all. Thanks, Naruto said, running outside. He ran through the parks for Abbott, asked the guards and even knocked on some builds but could not find hide nor hair of Hinata. He finally decided to check the dojo. He walked in to find Hinata beginning a graceful kata, jabbing her invisible opponent, before pirouetting to the left and slamming her palm where the opponent's stomach would be. She continued her graceful dance, never in one place, always on the tip of her toes, ready to switch position or attack. Naruto found it absolutely captivating. Hinata, sweating mildly and a bit out of breath, finished the long kata. It had taken her time but she had finally mastered it. She knew her father wouldn't say that but, deep down she knew it. Clap, clap, clap. Both student and sensei turned to the source of the noise, finding Naruto in a black kimono. That was absolutely amazing, Hinata-chan. Naruto complimented. Hyashi frowned slightly, but did not comment. Can we spar? I bet you'd kick me any day of the week but all experience is good. Before Hinata could decline, thinking her father wouldn't allow it, said Obstruction spoke up. I'm sure Hinata could use such experience too. Fighting positions, children. Without a second, or even first, thought, the two 8-year-olds faced each other, bowing their heads slightly before getting into their positions. Begin. Byakugan, Hinata murmured quietly. Naruto turned to the clan head. Wait. Any restrictions? For now, only taijutsu. Naruto turned around just in time to duck under the gentle fist strike, slapping away the poke to his temple which would have left him unconscious. He firmly dodged and parried Hinata's attacks with the Tokuken, before switching to Senkuken. Though not fast enough to make the taijutsu style fully effective, he still managed to use it to some extent. He slid to the side, avoiding the chakra-charged jab, before going on the offensive. Hinata just managed to duck under the vicious palm strike, pirouetting away from the following high kick. She continued to avoid his attacks with all the grace of a ballerina, before a speedy punch on her shoulder knocked her off balance, followed by a jab to the stomach, a sweeping kick to knock her down and a two-handed push while she was still in the air. Consequently, Hinata was on the floor, clutching her stomach, her Byakugan shut. She was wincing in pain, and was about to forfeit, which annoyed Naruto. Oh come on Hinata-chan. Don't give up, you landed quite a few counter jabs. I swear I can't feel my right arm, BLGHH, never mind use jutsu. Usually, this would be the point in the usual training schedule where Hinata would give up, but get up and try again, without much motivation. Hinata-chan, if you make mistakes who cares? It's better to make mistakes now against me and Hyashi-sama than against some evil, soulless S-rank missing nin who cares none for logs. Hinata got up Abbott, chuckling. Hyashi stared at his daughter's friend in surprise, before pondering the positive effect. Granted, his insanity was virulent, though Hinata was proving immune, but his happy-go-lucky attitude, boundless energy and courage seemed to affect Hinata too. Said Hyuga had reactivated her Byakugan, charging against her opponent with renewed vigor. He avoided her first jab to his shoulder, ducking under one to his head and smacking away one to his stomach, before getting some tenketsu in his right hip sealed up. Damn it, Naruto said as Hinata sprang away. GRR. His left leg felt numb, and he couldn't feel the chakra flowing there properly. Focusing his chakra, he forced it into his right hip, hoping it would somehow affect it. With a loud pop the tenketsu unsealed, Naruto grimacing in pain. Damn, you sure pack a punch. Or, jab. Naruto complimented. Oh I'm sorry, Hinata said, sad that she had hurt her friend. Naruto instantly backtracked. No. That's good Hinata-chan. I mean, if you couldn't pack a jab, then how else would you survive the ninja world? We're gonna kick ass, or, jab ass, and take names. Hyashi narrowed his eyes at the crude, vulgar use of words but let it slide this time. Shall we continue? Naruto asked. I think that is enough for now, Hyashi said. Naruto, how would you like to come for daily sparring sessions with Hinata? I'm sure she could improve greatly, and so could you. Oh, that would be great, Naruto said ecstatically. More excuses to visit, damn, the log was really on his side today. What time? I expect to see you both in the dojo at 10 a.m. sharp every day. Now, dismissed. Naruto would have stayed longer, but he knew he absolutely stunk right now, so he bade his farewells and made a note in his mind to not fight in a freaking kimono again. Next day. So Hanabi-chan, how did you like the leaflet? Naruto said, worked up after his sparring session. Amazing. So much useful tips. I just ordered 70 crates of rice paper. Great. But Naruto, how will we get our traveler's log?
Oh, 1 second, I think I need to refer to the Holy Book of Log, Naruto said, pulling said holy book out of his pocket.
Hanabi, having long paid for the service of having a copy made, also pulled her copy out, flipping through the pages. Ah, found it, Naruto exclaimed. Page 27, Thy Traveler's Log. Hanabi opened the appropriate page before beginning to read. Thy traveler's log is not chosen by the traveler, but decided by the commune of the trees in the great forest of life, with the final decision up to the great log sage. The traveler's log is not granted to all and any who seek it, Naruto continued, for it is a symbol of holiness and great faith. One must complete the 5 tests of holiness before one is blessed with a traveler's log. Hanabi quickly took over. First, one must have taught the ways of the holy log to at least one log acolyte. Second, one must have planted at least over 100 saplings. Third, one must have never committed heresy without the full repenting. Fourth, one must take a test log, made of plain oak, and keep it alive for at least 6 months. Last of all, the log acolyte to receive a traveler's log must have punished at least 10 heretics. Quite a list, Naruto commented reverently, and I shall complete every one. But, he said, before reading again, once those 5 tests of holiness have been completed, one must learn the Kushios, Rogu Tomo Meshi, summoning, log companion summons, a complicated space-time ninjutsu. The rest was just explaining the jutsu. Naruto looked at his fellow log worshipper, who had a determined glint in her eye. We have a lot of work to do, Hanabi commented, which Naruto totally agreed. Well, I have already taught you the ways of the holy log, and I've planted so many saplings that I lost count at 3,754, Naruto admitted, not lying or exaggerating at all. I've never committed heresy, except that time in training, where I repented fully. However, we should both get a test log, eh? Hanabi was admittedly slightly jealous at her companion's already vast progress, but squashed the feeling down ruthlessly and got up. She had some seeds to order. The next day, after a filling dinner at the Hyuga, the 2 log worshippers prepared to get their practice log. Hanabi had ran to her room and currently was back down again, facing a horror-stricken Naruto. Get that blasphemous weapon of evil away from me. He shrieked at the 4-year-old, almost comically dragging an axe behind her. But Naruto, how else will we get our practice log? Kawarimi, of course. Naruto replied. Painless loss of tree. We can't spill holy life sap with such a blasphemous, evil tool. Hanabi ran to a nearby guard, instructing him to melt the evil weapon with a katen jutsu. But Naruto-kun, I don't know the Kawarimi. I'm not starting lessons till next week, remember? Oh, I would teach it to you, but I don't want to interfere into whatever training program your dad's prepared for you. Well, let's go ask him then, Hanabi said, dragging Naruto along with her. They reached a white, oak door, both of the children stopping to offer a small prayer to the log mutilated for this purpose. Thank log they hadn't noticed the wooden floors. Naruto knocked the door and upon hearing a curt, enter, he opened it, Hanabi right behind him. Ah, Naruto. I believe you already finished your sparring sessions for today. Is there a problem? And no, Naruto insisted. I just wanted to ask your permission, to, teach Hanabi the Kawarimi. Hyashi was honestly surprised at the request, before condemning himself for being so stupid. The 2 worship a log as a deity. I should have known Hanabi would want to learn the Kawarimi. Well, I guess, there's no harm in him teaching her such a small thing. Is there? Well, you may teach her, but it must take place here in the mansion, and before Hanabi is cleared to use it when she likes, she must show me. Is that understood? Hi, Hyashi-sensei. Naruto replied, before rushing out the room. As soon as he stepped out, he gasped in shock. Wooden floorboards surrounded him. He was standing on dead logs. Carved logs. He nearly screamed there and then, but a quick glance at the similarly constructed walls shut him up. Then he smirked evilly. He had just found his first heretic. The Sandaime was confused when Naruto suddenly decided to start learning genjutsu, having not planned to teach him that for some time. He had honestly not expected the young man to like the subject, but said blonde had actually taken to it with vigor. Naruto had found it hard at first, requiring utmost concentration and chakra control, but thanks to his year of such lessons, he eventually got the hang of it. Said blonde had 50 clones, paired into groups of 2, each practicing a genjutsu on each other. Naruto had been given a scroll with 5 genjutsus on it after he had learned the basics, so 5 pairs worked for each genjutsu. Meanwhile, Naruto was repeatedly being put under genjutsu by the Hokage, being forced to dispel it without stabbing a kunai through one's leg. Afterwards, Naruto had to leave to visit the Hyuga for his daily sparring. It turned out that, surprisingly, Hiyashi knew both the Senkuken and the Tokuken. When asked, he simply replied, "I had to become a jounin too," and thus gave Naruto small tips on both. After a shower and change of clothes, Naruto met his fellow log acolyte on the edge of a small, wooden forest. Hanabi carefully made the hand seals, taking some time to do the jutsu as she was not used to it yet, though it was good enough for the purpose of her training log. With a puff of smoke, Hanabi disappeared, a log around the length of her forearm and as thick as her open palm taking her place. The young Hyuga ran back to her log, cradling it. Naruto, to Hanabi's amazement, managed to do the jutsu without a seal, an almost replicated log taking his place. Hanabi silently handed Naruto a strapping device similar to the one used to carry babies on one's back. The blonde slid it on, placing the log on the device, strapping it on. 6 weeks passed, Naruto improving at a rate which continued to surprise his mentor over and over. He begun to learn to use the double-ended spear version of his whip, which he named the Nikinyari, two-blade spear, learned more jutsus, be it Gen or Nin, continued to perfect his taijutsu, nearly mastering the nature manipulation for water and earth, protected his practice traveler's log, P. Before he knew it, it was Hinata's birthday, and he had been invited. The Hokage had warned the young blonde that the Hyugas did not make a big deal out of birthdays. No party, no streamers, the Hyuga mostly held a large dinner for close friends and family, as well as present giving. Hinata was overjoyed to see Naruto, as was Hanabi, and while they couldn't really play like 8 and 4-year-olds, they could at least boisterously chatter like them on the dinner table. The dinner was a sumptuous affair, food imported from all around the elemental nations, ranging from hot, steaming roasted duck to an 8-layer, stark white cake. After most of the guests had left, Hinata was left with her sister, father, mother, best friend and the Hokage. And so the real present giving began. Of course, all the attending guests had left small trinkets as presents, but it was nothing compared to the real things which her closest people got her. Her mother, knowing her desire to learn the ways of the medic nin, had bought her 5 books on healing, volumes 1 to 5 of carefully healing careless ninjas, though Hokage had tactlessly crossed out ninjas and written blondes on top. Her father presented her with practically a whole wardrobe worth of chakra resizing ninja clothing, while Hanabi gave her a dozen, expensive pearly white ebonite kunai, with the leaf symbol etched into the handles, curved slightly to one side for slashing motions. The Leaf Village's leader gave her a grade A medikit, until finally she was faced with Naruto. Naruto began, I didn't really know what to get. I mean, you're a princess and all so, I thought, what can you get a princess? Naruto gave her a box-shaped present, wrapped carefully in a cerulean wrapping, covered in logs, of course. Carefully untying the ribbon and slipping off the paper, Hinata opened the jet black box to find inside it sturdy, leather lilac gloves with strands of ebonite woven into it and small, ebonite points at the end of each finger. She noted that each point was not even sharp enough to give a paper cut, never mind stab. As if answering an unasked question, Naruto spoke up. Had it made for you. The points at the end help to sort of, concentrate the chakra so it's more, precise, Naruto said, slightly worried. This was the first time he had ever given anyone a gift. Hinata absolutely loved the gift, and vowed to make good use of it. Naruto was relieved, and soon they settled down for some friendly chatter. The 8-year-old Hyuga could not help but notice Naruto's slight stiffening in posture as he received the memories of a clone. Nor did she miss the evil smirk that followed. And so the first heretic shall be punished. Naruto thought slyly, sharing a knowing glance with Hanabi. Hyuga Hiyashi woke up, laying on his side, head face to where his wife would be. First thing he saw was a human-sized log. He nearly screamed there and then, but instead formed his hands in a seal and screamed Kai. Nothing happened. He looked down at his bed. However, instead, there was a log. He looked at the door. There was a log. He looked at the floor. One big log. He looked down at himself. His sleepwear had logs all over it. He pinched himself. Please tell me I'm in a nightmare. Frantically panting, he ran to the bathroom, wanting to wash his face. Horrified, he peeked into the bathroom. The shower was one big, hollow log. A log, half hollowed, took the place of the toilet. He looked in the mirror. A log stared back at him. This time, he did scream. His wife instantly sat up, the door slamming open as guards walked in. Hiyashi exited the bathroom to find several white-eyed logs staring at him with worry. Darling, are you okay? The one on the bed, no, log said, worried. The Hyuga patriarch, still screaming, ran out of his room. As soon as he did, the floorboards became animated. You, Kaival lead, me, it whispered, dead eyes staring at the Hyuga patriarch. Mew-er. No. Get away from me. Hyashi jumped out of a nearby window, glass shattering, barely noticing the impact as he hit the grass. Well, it felt like grass. When he looked at it, he found himself staring at tiny strands of log waving around in the wind. He needed to get away from the logs. Too many logs. He ran into the village, rushing past log houses, log stores, log civilians, log ninjas. He screamed for the umpteenth time that day. The Hokage had just arrived in his office when he heard an ear-splitting shriek. He heard some more bashing and disturbances at the bottom of his tower, and was about to get up to fight, when the door slammed open, showing a crazed-looking man. Hyuga Hyashi was obviously not a morning person. He was still in white PJs, which consequently said all hail the log all over it. His hair was a mess, tangled up and flying in all directions. His eyes were bloodshot and he was shivering all over. Hyashi, what? The Sandaime began, wondering what was wrong. The L logs. He screamed, stuttering like Hinata. They're everywhere. Don't worry Hyashi, Sandaime said, enjoying this far too much. It will all go away. For the log is with thee, my friend. The most holy of the forest, shall save thee. Shall be thy salvation. And yet, the log asks for nothing in return. That was the last straw. With one, last, blood-curdling scream, Hyuga Hyashi fainted. You do know, he will kill you, Naruto, the Hokage thought wryly. Naruto, Hinata said, meeting the 8-year-old blonde in a dojo. Was it you? By now the whole compound knew of Hyashi's moment of insanity, and all blamed Naruto. The log commanded it Hinata-chan. Let's just go to our sparring session. Minutes later Hyashi arrived, looking as if nothing had happened in the morning, losing no composure when he saw the mischief-making log worshipper. Children, today we will do something different. He began with a sadistic gleam in his eyes. Hinata, you will begin to teach Hanabi the basics of the Juken, and Naruto, he said, restraining the urge to cackle evilly. Naruto will spare with me. Ha 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 ha. The Kyuubi laughed cruelly at his jailer's punishment. You're screw-weed and ain't no log here to save you now. Naruto gulped visibly, Hinata sending him a pitying glance as she went off to find her sister. Ow. Naruto moaned as he tried to sit down next to a chuckling Hinata. Ow, ow, it's not funny. I know he had a reason to be annoyed, but that Tenketsu strike to the butt was just overkill. Hinata's small chuckles turned into full-blown laughter. She just couldn't help it. So Hinata, you're starting the academy in 3 years too? Yes, I'll be graduating when I'm 12. You? Hinata said, stutter-free words coming natural to her. Her sparring lessons, which usually extended into full-blown taijutsu lessons, had given her a lot of confidence, consequently Hyashi did not give up on her eldest daughter. Me too. Ooh, I can't wait, Naruto said excitedly. Academy will be boring, but afterward I can become a fully fledged ninja and protect the log. And my comrades, Hinata giggled a bit at that. They begun to chat a bit, one thing leading to another, and next thing they knew they were talking about training. Unlike Hinata, Naruto had no qualms talking about specifics, except his teacher. Hinata-chan, did you find out your elemental affinity yet? No. Apparently, my chakra will not be developed enough for quite some time. Oh. I found out mine and I had 3. It's amazing, isn't it? Hokage, performing the parental duty of protective surveillance from one of the balconies, gasped at this. Wow, Hinata exclaimed. I wish I could find my elemental affinity, she lamented. Oh, that's easy, Naruto said, before making a clone which ran off and came back shortly with 2 pieces of paper. Just channel chakra into it. Hinata channeled the chakra, not expecting any results. She was pleasantly surprised when the paper crumpled up, signifying her lightning affinity. Awesome. You should see what happens when I do it, Naruto said proudly. He charged chakra into it, getting the expected first result of a ripped-in-half paper. However, the second result blew Hokage's mind. The 2 halves of the paper hardened, thickening into wooden slabs. I wonder what that means. Naruto mused. The Hokage had hardly expected Hokage of all people to run into his office, panting. Take a seat, my dear, he said, pouring her a cup of tea. Is something wrong? It's Naruto, Hokage-sama. Oh? The Hokage asked, groaning inwardly. He was showing Hinata how to find out her elemental affinity, and she's a Raiten, she said proudly. Anyway, Naruto then proceeded to take out another chakra paper and channel his chakra into it. Ah yes, Naruto has wind, earth and water. Quite jaw-dropping for one his age. If you think that's jaw-dropping, then prepare. After he channeled chakra, the paper ripped, then it turned to wood. You could have heard a pin drop. Or for that matter, a pipe drop, as the Hokage's mouth was open in amazement. Do you have any idea what that means, Hokage-sama? It means, he is a Makuten user. Oh, wow, Makuten? I mean, no one's seen that since Shodai. Yes, well, for now, please do not tell anyone, except maybe Hiyashi. Now, if you don't mind, I really have matters I need to focus on. Of course. Farewell, Hokage-sama. Yes, goodbye. Oh, and Hokage? Sandaime said before the Hyuga matriarch could leave. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. As soon as she left, Hiruzen called for his secretary. She popped her head in. Can I help you, Hokage-sama? Yes, Nemo, can you please get Anbu Agent Nico? Hi, Hokage-sama. 2 minutes later, said Anbu was in front of him, brown hair showing over his cat mask. Nico-san, I am assigning you a new, A-rank mission. Hi Hokage-sama. Details, please. You are to take a 6-month break from Anbu duty, as natural Makuten abilities have risen in a young ninja in training. The shock ran through the Anbu agent like an S-rank Raiten Jutsu. During this period you will be suspended as an Anbu agent and you will become a Jounin. I assure you it is only temporary. If I may ask, Hokage-sama, who is the Makuten user whom I shall be teaching? Uzumaki Naruto. He has Makuten? Yes. Now you will not only teach him Makuten ninjutsu, you will teach him earth and water jutsu as well as taijutsu if you can. Your file states that you are an S rank with the wakizashi and whipping willow style, and you have lots of experience fighting with clones. True? Hi. The Anbu, ex-Anbu replied, still in a daze. Well, you are to teach your student all of this. If you need more than 6 months, then it can easily be arranged. Similarly, if you finish quicker than that, I can reinstate you into active duty. Hi Hokage-sama. Any questions? Where and when will we train? I have had another instructor teaching him for a year and a half now, so you will not need to teach him any basics. From now on, his training will be fully handled by you and you alone, and it will take place in the Sarutobi personal training ground. Here is the summarizing file of Naruto's ninja skills and the training he has undergone, as well as some previously planned lessons. Oh, and last thing, do not make his Makuten techniques common knowledge, except with the Hyuga clan, with whom he takes taijutsu practice sparring every day at 10 a.m. You are dismissed. Right before the cat-faced Anbu left, the Hokage told him to take off his mask, before bidding goodbye. Yamato first went to the young Uzumaki's house, finding no one there. He quickly visited the Sarutobi personal training ground, also finding it vacated. He then went to the Hyuga mansion. He exchanged greetings with the guards before going off to find his young charge. He quickly found himself face to face with an overprotective 4-year-old. Hanabi knew of the mean people who hated Naruto, so naturally when a stranger came to ask for him, she did not give his location straight away. The sight of the 4-year-old in front of him, arms crossed, staring haughtily at him nearly made Yamato laugh. Why do you want Naruto-kun? She asked. I'm his new instructor. What are you going to teach him? She asked suspiciously. He played with the idea of refusing to tell her, but decided against it. Makuten. What's Makuten? She asked, this time purely to sate her curiosity. Control over the wood element. He replied. Hanabi's eyes widened, saucer staring at the ninja in front of him. Really? Show me. Fine, Yamato said, at the moment willing to do anything to get this nosy 4-year-old away from him. He flipped through some hand seals, causing a small tree to sprout next to him. Kawa 5-5, Hanabi said, glomping on the stranger. Naruto can do that? Yes. Yes. Now please let me go find him. No. I must teach you the ways of the log. The what? Don't you mean God? I meant what I said, fool. The holy log. But, holy log? The log is my savior, I shall not char. It burneth in my stead, it protecteth me from the flames. It confoundeth mine enemies, it covereth mine escape. Yea, though I walk through the compounds of Uchiha, I will fear no Kaden, for thou art with me, thy bark and thy sap they shieldeth me. Thou provideth me with shielding from the kunai of my enemies, from their shuriken and their wrath, my gratitude is never ending. Surely splinters and termites shall follow me all my ninja life, but I shall remain devoted to the log forever, Hanabi said reverently. Are you talking about the Kawarimi? Yamato asked, unknowingly quoting many before him. Yes. 5 hours later, all hail the holy log. Hanabi chanted. Hail the log, Yamato shouted reverently. Test of faith number 1, check. Alright, fellow log acolyte, Hanabi said, let us find Naruto-kun such that he may learn the holy powers of log. Holy powers of log. Yamato parroted. Yamato found himself led to one of the most obscure training grounds excluding the Forest of Death, in Konoha. It seemed that Naruto was trying to secretly teach Hinata a small Raiten jutsu he had learned at some point in his training. Hinata was worried she was in trouble, but Yamato quickly put that doubt to rest. I'm here because, from now on I'll be Naruto's new sensei. Why? Naruto whined. I liked the happy old sensei, he said, saving himself quickly. Well Naruto, it seems you have the ability to do the Makuten. Me, Makuten, you, are you serious? Naruto screamed. It was like a dream come true. Yes, Yamato said shortly. Awesome. But wait, why are you more suited to teach me than the old sensei? Due to some odd circumstances, I also possess the Makuten, but not as strong as Shade's, nor probably as strong as yours seeing as you're also a natural. And, the holy log bid me to teach thee. All hail the holy log, Naruto shouted, Hinata covering her ears in pain. Hail the log, may its holy life sap invigorate us for all eternity. Log sensei, Naruto began, earning an odd look for an equally odd name, please bless me with an example. Log Oshiego, log disciple, I shall do so. With a mere hand sign, Naruto was trapped in a rapidly growing tree. Thank you for this demonstration of pure awesome, Naruto said humbly. Yamato looked at the sun, judging that it was around 6 p.m. Naruto-kun, we still have around 3 to 4 hours till we have to go. How about I begin you on your Makuten technique such that you may practice overnight with your shadow clones? Yes please, log sensei. Okay, the first technique I will show you is the Moku Bunshin no Jutsu, wood clone technique. The hand signs are tiger, dog, snake. Naruto progressed quickly, at some point the Sandaime showing him how to split his whip into two. Basically, it took the shape of the chakra which you poured in, which was how Naruto ended up learning to dual-wield wakizashis. He continued learning Senkuken and Tokuken, as well as the whipping willow style and learning a myriad of Makuten, Suten, Doten and Fuuten jutsus. His sensei also taught him some Raiten and Katen, but not very much. With Hanabis and several shadow clones' help, Naruto totally refurbished and changed the Hyuga mansion, replacing the wooden floorboards with elegantly designed white tiles etc. Naruto had developed his own jutsu, one that had really surprised Yamato in their sparring session. Flashback: Yamato slammed his fist into one Naruto clone, watching it erupt in smoke. He pulled back his fist, aiming another punch at another clone. This time he pulled back his fist covered in deep cuts. Log Oshiego, what was that? Ah log sensei, I developed a jutsu. The Kaze Bunshin no Jutsu, wind clone technique. I am proud of you, log Oshiego. Use this new power wisely to protect the log. He also finished the allotted time span for protecting his practice log. He did not abandon it, instead he used his newly learned Utosose no Jutsu, wood rebirth technique, on it. He began to actually search for heretics. He racked his brain, making a list of all heresy committed by the Sandaime, from willingly using log paper to throwing kunai at wooden targets. Wooden targets for log's sake. He pondered for ages, wondering exactly how to punish his Jiji. How does one punish the strongest man in the village? The answer struck Naruto like lightning, and he quickly ran to his apartment to prepare. The Sandaime, at age 73, was not exactly young, so he allowed himself his vices and guilty indulgences. 2 guilty indulgences to be precise, Icha Icha, written by his student, and his tobacco-filled pipe. At 7 a.m. in the morning, before the workday begun, he usually indulged a bit. He sat in his comfortable leather chair, pulling his Icha Icha book out from a secret drawer. He barely noticed that the title had changed, from Icha Icha Juuminokudo to Icha Icha Hade Kankyu. He flipped through the pages, opening it to where he had left off. Mina, the beautiful buxom seamstress, had just been successfully seduced by the charming Daisuke. Instead of finding the expected scene, he found 2 men on the book, drawn with accurate details, engaging in hot, sweaty intercourse. Daisuke moaned as Ushimaru hit that sweet spot deep inside him. Sarutobi threw the book as far as he could from himself, splintering the opposite wall. He willed himself to calm down, trying to forget that horrible, blasphemous picture. Deciding to forego the usual pipe smoking, he picked up the first paper from a large pile. Petition for log classes Naruto. He growled evilly, reading the title of the paper. He went through all the papers one by one, finding each similarly titled. He burned them all, pulling another batch of paperwork. This one was normal, and the Hokage began the tedious task of stamping rejected, Rejected, rejected. On each one. Suddenly he heard an evil, maniacal laughter. He turned around to find the source, finding himself staring at the paperwork, which now had two evil, glowing eyes, fangs and slits for a nose. Sarutobi-kun, it said evilly. It is time for you to squawk. Hiruzen looked at the flaming mess of paperwork, sighing forlornly. Okay, now I really need my pipe. He lit it, vaguely noting that the resulting fumes did not smell like tobacco, but taking a long drag anyway. Hatake Kakashi, tired from his S-rank mission, entered the Hokage's office in his dirty and bloody uniform. Hokage-sama, Anbu Agent Inu reporting for duty. Hey. The cage giggled. Hokage-sama? Giggles. Hokage-sama, are you okay? Okaiye? I've never been better. The Hokage replied, his pitch fluctuating. Giggles. Sir. The Hokage took a long drag on his pipe. You should tree, he said, his voice like a young girl's. Show 'm of this. It's magical. Hokage-sama. Inu-san, Hokage said seriously. Come here, I have something really important to tell you. Slightly relieved that his superior was talking normally, the Anbu went up to his cage. Closer. He leaned closer, till the old man's mouth was at his ear. What I'm about to tell you is an S-rank secret, he whispered dramatically. Yes, Hokage-sama? I have. Yes? I have a unicorn. Sweat drop. Giggles. But you can't tell anyone. Nemo-san. Kakashi called the secretary. You might want to come see this. Yes, Inu-san? She asked the dog-masked Anbu. I has a unicorn. Excuse me, Hokage-sama? Nemo asked politely. His name is Charlie, he said, ending with a whisper. She then took a sniff, smelling the odd fumes, before looking at the Hokage's bloodshot eyes. Hokage-sama, can I see your pipe? No. Charlie, run, they want to hurt you. Hokage-sama, Hiruzi, Nemo said, finally getting a response with the last one. Charlie's evil. No. Charlie's evil. Really? He kills people while you're not looking. Evil? Like paperwork? Nemo sighed. Yes, like paperwork. The Hokage gave the woman his pipe, sighing sadly. Oh, how he'd miss Charlie. His secretary turned to the Anbu, who was slightly scared by now. It seems, Ino-san, that our Hokage is smoking weed. Weed? Yes, an odd mix between weed and crack. Oh, that's not good. Yes. Terrible. Now, how can we get him to the hospital? Hokage-sama. Kakashi begun. Charlie's angelic twin is at the hospital. Take this note, give it to a nurse and she'll show you to him. The Hokage sped out, leaving a cloud of smoke. What does the note say? Knock me out and treat me for mental instability. Kakashi quoted. Mental instability? You idiot. Nemo moaned, running to find her boss. Kakashi was about to leave, but found himself nearly tripping up on a red book, with a picture of a woman chasing a man on the front. What's this? Kakashi queried, opening the book. Disturbing perverted giggles haunted the tower's occupants for the rest of the day. Naruto and Hanabi were congratulating themselves on a heretic punishing job well done with a hot, salty bowl of miso ramen when they both suddenly shuddered. I have a feeling we've released something horrible unto the world today, Naruto said sadly. Hanabi could only mutely agree. Throughout the following year, Naruto and Hanabi sabotaged a whole paper-producing factory, killed several woodpeckers, dark creatures of pure, unadulterated evil at least, if you ask Naruto that was, and been punished severely for the weed stunt. Flashback: how did you get the weed in the first place? The Hokage asked, having severely scolded the two children in front of him. Oh, simple, Naruto replied. I just asked it to grow. The Sandaime sighed sadly. End flashback: Naruto became at least B rank with his Nikinyari, the double-ended spear, B rank with 2 Wakizashis and A rank while wielding one, and by the time he had entered the academy his ninjutsu arsenal was absolutely massive. His most favorite technique so far was doing combination jutsu with himself. Well, his clone at least, but it still counted. From sending accelerated jets of wind-pressured water in a cutting manner, often electrifying it with another clone, to sending spears of wood surrounded by cutting winds. Naruto was really creative. Before he knew it, Naruto was beginning the academy. Yamato, although having only been assigned Naruto's sensei for 6 months, he continued teaching the blonde for much longer, staying a Joun until then. Naruto had been sure he was absolutely ready, till he decided to get his clothing ready. Looking through his collection of kimonos, training gi and shozokus, he decided none would be totally fit for a regular academy. With that thought in mind, he took his savings, Kenchi's savings, and went to the shinobi armory, deciding to get some normal clothing. He walked around the shop, before finding a set of clothes which were the definition of epic. He added the loose trousers and shirt, both designed to look like wood. He bought some bandages to secure the trousers at the ankle, before buying a belt to hold his mutating weapon, as his sensei liked to call it. Finally, he bought elbow pads and a headband. He hid his ever-present weights given to him by his log sensei under the gloves and boots which his Gigi had got him so long ago. Praising himself in the mirror of the shinobi store, Naruto ordered 10 more sets of the clothing to be made, paying for the one he wore on the spot. Through the relatively quiet streets, Naruto walked to his destination, slowly walking to the Hyuga mansion. Once he arrived, he greeted a 7-year-old Hanabi, picking up an 11-year-old Hinata who incidentally, really loved his new outfit. They walked to the academy, hand in hand, no romantic intentions, of course arriving a full hour early. They decided to wait in the playground, where they also found a boy their age in a long overcoat which extended over his mouth, dark shades hiding his eyes. In fact, the only skin showing was the cheeks, nose and forehead. "Hello, Aburame-san," Hinata said, instantly recognizing him from his appearance. "Blessings of the log be upon you," Naruto said cheerily. Shino turned to look at him, wondering about the odd greeting. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto, and my good friend here is Hyuga Hinata. She's awesome, by the way. Greetings, my name is Aburame Shino." Naruto looked at him suspiciously. "You don't control any termites, do you?" "No. Why do you ask?" "Termites are evil. I'm safe this way." "Shino-san, are you starting the academy this year?" "Yes," he replied shortly. Some may have taken offense, but Hinata knew very well how the Aburame spoke. Hinata and Naruto quickly found themselves running out of things to talk about with the other boy, mostly due to the fact that Aburames don't talk much. Naruto passed the time easily, watching his clones practice with Kuji and Kue, Justice and Honor, his twin Wakazashis. He had remembered first using the clones for physical practice. Flashback: Yamato finished teaching Naruto the first katas for his Wakazashi, before telling him to create 50 clones. The blonde did so without a single hand sign, evidence of his mastery of the jutsu, all the clones appearing with a Wakazashi in their hand. "All of you, begin the first kata," Yamato shouted. "Nani?" Naruto asked. "I thought you don't gain the physical gain of your clones," he stated, confused. My log Oshiego, there is a difference. While if you set 50 clones to do push-ups, you wouldn't really get anything except a load of exhaustion. However, if you set them to do something repetitive, like katas, they will pass on the memory. But I thought things like that were muscle memory." "Yes. The muscle memory of the clones gets passed on to you. Where else would you get the exhaustion from?" "Oh, okay then. Kata 1, clones. Chop chop, literally." End flashback: while his 2 clones sparred in front of him, 350 more were training at the Sarutobi grounds. Oh, the beauty of shadow clones. The playground gradually filled up with children starting this year. Naruto noticed a wide selection of clan members joining with him: an Uchiha, a Hyuga, a Yamanaka, an Akamiki, a Nara, an Aburame and an Inuzuka, dog and all. The bell rung, signifying the leaving of parents and the entering of children. Naruto loitered behind, allowing everyone to enter the class before him. He was so excited. This was step 1 of his path to become Hokage, to better protect the holy log. He opened the door, walking in to find everyone sitting before him, before he stopped in horror. "Uzumaki. What's wrong?" a scar-faced instructed asked. "Wooden chairs, wooden floorboards, wooden desks, wooden display boards, wooden doors." "Ah!" Naruto screamed, running out. "Okay then." Iruka began, "My name is Iruka and..." Naruto returned just in time to find the children about to exit the class for jutsu practice, a horde of clones behind him, each carrying metal chairs, made comfortable with cushioning foam, covered in leathers. Another horde brought in an equal amount of metal tables for each student, followed by a large, metal desk for his teacher. The floorboards were quickly replaced by cool tiles by another group, the display boards replaced with a plastic one. Finally the door was knocked down, replaced by a large metal one. "All better," Naruto said, some clones behind him holding all the old wooden stuff. Okay, well we have all finished introducing ourselves, and we're just about to show some jutsu which had already been learned. So why don't you introduce yourself, then we can continue." "Oh. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I like the holy log, Hinata-chan and my fellow log acolytes. I dislike those who needlessly use logs when they could have dodged, those who murder logs and trees and use logs as furnishing of all things. My hobby is training and planting saplings. My dream is to become Hokage such that I may protect the logs even more, Iruka sighed. There always had to be one oddball, didn't there? They went to an academy training ground, where Iruka stood before his class. So how many of you know a jutsu? 7 hands raised. Alright then. Kiba, you go first, said Inuzuka jumped in the air, spinning in the air, resembling a drill to those present. Good, good. Shikamaru, your turn. Ah, troublesome, he sighed. He formed his hand in an odd seal, his shadow extending to meet Iruka's. Kage main no jutsu. Excellent. Shino, you're next. Bugs began to pour out of Shino's coat, gathering at a spot to his left. They formed a vaguely human shape, till more bugs were added and a full Shino clone was formed. Mushi Bunshin no Jutsu. The bug user said stoically. Mr. Akimichi. Iruka called, looking at his plump student. Go. The brown-haired youth formed a hand seal, shouting Baika no Jutsu. He expanded threefold, giving an almost comical rounded appearance. He then let go of the transformation, once again becoming smaller. Hinata, your turn. The once shy girl stepped forward, forming some hand seals. Raiten, Denku Shuriken, Lightning Release, Lightning Shuriken, 3 shurikens of crackling yellow energy formed at Hinata's hand, before she threw them at the floor. A distinct smell of ozone was released as she burnt the grass. Good job. Sasuke, go. The Uchiha stepped forward, flipping through hand seals. Katen, Gokakyu no Jutsu. A huge orb of roaring flames expelled from his mouth, slamming it into a nearby tree, which burned to ashes in seconds. Naruto growled slightly. He had just found his 4th heretic. Wow, well, finally, Naruto. Go. The clones of Naruto lay all the wooden objects at the edge of the clearing, each slightly separated. Utosose no Jutsu, Naruto said, after flipping through some hand seals. The wooden objects absorbed into the ground, before suddenly sprouting into large trees. That was my wood rebirth technique. It returns murdered logs into the trees they were born from. Amakuten. Iruka inwardly gasped. Good job, Mizuki, the assistant sensei said. Now, let's get back to class so we may begin our lessons. A collective groan ran through the 30 or so students as they followed their senseis back inside. Everyone took their quite comfortable seats, watching their teacher in front. Let's begin our lessons. First, we will be doing the history of shinobi. Iruka began, giving a rather boring introduction to the subject. So, does anyone know anything of the Shodai? A pink-haired girl raised her hand. He was the first Hokage, and had a rare control over wood. Good. Anyone else? Iruka asked. Naruto put his hand up. Naruto. As the 7th moon cycle passed, Naruto began to quote. The holy log pope begged for help from the gods, and his pleas were justly answered. Bathed in light, Hashirama Senju took up the holy powers of the log, and as the light left him, he saith, let there be logs. Everyone looked at him, quite confused. There's more, Naruto said quickly, before quoting again. As the 2 titans clashed, the world stood at standstill, the black flame of the heretic Uchiha Madara blazing fiercely against the holy life-giving power of the log pope Senju Hashirama. As the ebony flame threatens to vanquish the divination of the holy log, it all came to naught as the Shodai Hokage drew all of his power to quench the abomination, thus ending the terror which threatened the continuity of the blessing from the holy sap. Stupid Dobi, Sasuke said from his seat at the front. He hadn't heard of this Uchiha Madara, but he was an Uchiha, and such lowly scum did not have any right to even mention his name, never mind insult him. As if the powers of the log, he said scornfully, could ever beat an Uchiha, the best of the be. He was halted by a chunk of wood slamming into his cheek. Don't insult the log, Naruto said fiercely. Sasuke was about to fight back when Mizuki stopped them. Now, leave the fighting for our monthly taijutsu ranking contest. But he's evil. Naruto screamed. Evil? Mizuki asked. Yes, all Uchiha are evil. He breathes fire for log's sake. Naruto, that's enough, Iruka said forcefully. Once everyone calmed down, he began again. The Shodai was the first Hokage of Konoha. And so Naruto's academy days began, most of which he spent reading the awesome book on Fuinjutsu he had gotten for his last birthday. And the ones after it, and after them.